happens to be our family member, Kate Scott, and she's also got other things cooking. We'll talk about that in just a second. Get her take on Jokic and the Nuggets winning the championship next. Kate Scott on the Sports Leader.
Where in the world is Oakland A's owner John Fisher?
right base sideline. Gets it in, gets it back, shoots a three, no good. Rebound, Caldwell Pope, 10 seconds to go. Miami's not going to foul. No team in NBA history's waited longer. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets are finally NBA champions. They take down the Heat in 5 games. The Nuggets, the 2023 NBA champs.
Now you are an NBA champion, Nicola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Congratulations.
One of the great championship lines there. You're listening to KBR and KBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station. Paulie, I have a question for you.
Yeah, totally.
So who worked harder for their goals? Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Mike Malone, or our next guest? Who? Ready for this? Not only is she just the great Kate Scott and our family member.
That's where you start. That's the point number
the
one.
Voice of the Philadelphia 76ers.
I can't tell you how much I love that.
You ready for this? Next month, achieving a lifelong dream, will be part of the Fox broadcast team calling Women's World
This is what I'm talking about.
Soccer.
This is what I mean. Kate
All
Scott,
of
man.
that. So much so that we can overlook the fact that she also is calling Seattle Seahawks preseason football.
I heard that out on the streets. I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, Kate, first of all, you're a marvel. You're a marvel.
God bless you, Kate. I'm so happy
Second of all,
for you.
we love you. And third of all, good morning.
Oh, good morning, you guys. Good morning. Oh, that call hurts my heart. Congratulations to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's just sticking the knife in again, Paulie, and turning it one more time. But good for them. And I'm sure you guys would have been talking about it this morning. There's a little mad bum, right, with the wanting to get back to his horses and like, yeah, this is great.
Nice.
I'll drink a beer, but like, I just want to get back to my woman and my horses, and I'm good to go.
You know
That's
what,
all-
Kate?
that's it.
We went 56 minutes and nobody made the Bumgarner call till you.
It's a great
That's
call,
why
actually.
You're
Yeah.
That's why you're you. That's
Come
why
on,
you're you.
guys.
I'm going to blame Marcus. He should have been better than that.
Yeah. Bumgarner
Marcus
Is
should have been on
he
that.
the one of the Stanford hat this morning?
He is.
the one
He
rocking
is.
it?
He is.
Yeah.
What do you think of this stream, Kate? What do you think?
That explains everything. Why he's, only thinking of himself because he's cheering for Stanford.
See, Kate knows.
See, we're talking to a Cal
She
Golden
knows.
Beer here. What about Kate? Are you seeing our stream? Do you see it?
Oh.
I'll be honest, guys. I tried to queue it up this morning, and it wasn't working. So
You're better off. That's what they're saying.
Kate,
I wasn't
that's the
going to
perfect-
pick it up, but since you brought it up,
That's the perfect answer.
Changed
That's the
in the 20 years.
No, you're better off. You're better off.
The sports leader, Kate. The sports leader. All right.
I was like, they're on Twitch. This is amazing.
We're supposed to
Welcome
be.
2023. Nope, not working.
all right,
Anyway.
we'll move along. We'll move along. Oh no! Triple E it says it's fixed, Kate. So
Okay, you can give it another try later.
Take a look.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Refresh.
Because I have an oil painting of your classmate behind me. When Aaron Rodgers lost to the Niners in the snow and trotted off with a downcast look, I did a freeze frame on my TV and sent out a tweet saying I'd pay big money for an oil painting of this. And a young woman in Florida who's a painter said, "You serious? Because I'll do it."
I'll do it right now.
And then she did it, and then I paid, and then she charged me, and it was not cheap. So now it is. It's hanging in our stream right behind us. That's your buddy.
Oh my gosh.
That's the Cal Golden
amazing.
Bear. So anyway,
that's amazing.
well, first of all, let's talk NBA before we talk about all your exciting stuff. And you say the knife in the heart, but listen, you're an NBA voice now, man. You see the league, you see it up close. And if you could just give us your perspective of, setting aside the Sixer pain, what the Nuggets just achieved, because I mean that's a franchise nobody talks about or thinks about, and oh, by the way, they just steamrolled the league 16-4.
Insane.
And they're already talking, Kate, to where Jokic places in history, like where he is in history. What's your take?
Well, I mean, you guys were talking about it a little bit. I heard in the last 10, 15 minutes where he was drafted, how many teams passed over him, right? How he has changed his body, how he has continually been doubted, how nobody wanted him at the All-Star game. I'm sure you all saw that post where he's just sitting in this row of all these empty chairs because he was the last dude picked at the All-Star game. But what he's done to get so close a couple of years ago, right? Lose his partner in crime to an ACL. That's obviously Warriors fans remember that, right? To stay together, to not think about going to another team, to just get back to work. And you guys said it. I mean, the parity right now in this league, the fact that in the last 4 years, the Raptors and the Bucks and the Denver Nuggets and obviously the Warriors have won it. I mean, I think it speaks volumes of the way the league is growing. And it's interesting. I'm actually reading a book right now sent to me, of course, by our friend who never stops promotion, Andy Dolich.
Nice.
Shout out to Andy in the Bay.
Nice.
But just talking about the NBA coming to be what it is today, and you guys know because you were living it and I was living it. It wasn't that long ago that the NBA was like a lot of the women's leagues are right now. Just a handful of teams trying to figure things out. A team is launched in this city and, oh, gosh, it's going bankrupt. Where are we going to move it? Like, it was not that long ago. It was early 80s when Michael and Magic and Larry Bird, those were the guys that really started to make the league into what it is today. Shout out to Rick Welts, obviously, in the Bay as well. But to see now where it is to have a team like the Denver Nuggets and this dude from Serbia who doesn't look like he can even beat you at the YMCA, let alone be a two-time MVP of the league and then MVP of the finals. I think it's fantastic. Obviously, it hurts like crazy because I so enjoyed watching him and my big guy, Joel, go at it back in, I think they played in January here in Philly. But I think it's great for the league. I think it's great for the city of Denver. They do have a great basketball fan base. Our game was crazy there, beg your pardon, earlier this year. So it hurts, but good for them. And hopefully this will just, again, motivate our big guy, Joel, to try to get what he doesn't have now in the NBA championship.
Kate Scott is the voice you hear, of course, the legend, of course, KNBR's own. She's off in Philadelphia now calling Sixers games, but that's not all. She's got these two very exciting opportunities coming up, which we'll talk about in just a second, including the Women's World Cup, which is really exciting next month. But just a quick word on your parody, Kate. So the Nuggets have been installed as the Vegas favorites to, and I don't know, whatever. Vegas
As they
odds.
should, though. As they should.
But here you go, followed by the Boston Celtics.
See, I don't like that right there. I don't know where they're getting Boston.
Followed by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee is okay.
Then you go to our group. Kate, your squad and our squad. The Warriors and the Sixers and the Lakers are then tied as the next. But, I mean, you could see any of those six teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's like, what is the team that I'm calling? What are they even going to look like this year, right? Like, is James Harden coming back? If he doesn't come back, how do the Sixers pivot? Do they try to go out and get another huge star in a Bradley Beal or a Damian Lillard? Do they just decide to give the ball to Tyrese Maxey and say, okay, you're our dude now. We're going to try to get out and get some more shooters and role players around you to try to make it you and Joel and see what we can do. The Bucks have a new coach. How does that look? What are the Warriors going to look like? Right?
No, legit question.
I think
That's
there's
legit.
a lot of change there, Paulie.
Yeah.
I mean, flashback to the beginning and actually the first number of months of this season. And the two teams were, the Milwaukee Bucks are coming out of the East and the Los Angeles Clippers, as soon as they get healthy, man, look out for them. So I think this postseason proves yet again, it's really fun to guess. It makes all of us look amazing if we somehow pick correctly. But I just think it's so hard to do right now in today's NBA.
No, you're right. The NBA this summer is going to be huge. It's huge for the Sixers. It's huge for the Warriors. It's all this stuff, too. And we're talking to Kate Scott as the Denver Nuggets clinch their first ever NBA championship after 47 years. And Nikola Jokic, all he wants to do, by the way, is go back and, as you point to your earlier comment,
Get back
Kate,
to the horses.
I was just looking at some quotes. He says he has a race on Sunday.
You don't want to disrupt that. You got to let the Joker get back to his race. Yeah.
This is just work, Paulie. Now he gets back to life.
I love it.
He's paying bills. Now he's got to get back to how cute was his daughter also. Oh, my gosh.
The whole family.
Little Tata?
Yeah.
Tata Jokic? Yeah. So, and the brothers, too.
I'm afraid of the brothers. Yeah.
So, anyway.
Throwing Mike Malone into the air. I know it was like a soccer celebration. You see that a lot in Europe. You find the person who did great and you throw them up into the air, especially when they're small, like Malone.
You say soccer, we say soccer. Listen, knowing you as long as we've known you, and knowing what soccer has meant to you, listen, I mean, obviously it's not basketball, it's not football, it's not baseball, but it's huge.
It is huge.
Kate, 15-year-old Declan Murphy, by the way, now just a monster international footy fan, and so it's in our household on TikTok a lot, all right? Champions League was on the TV, all that stuff. So soccer means so much to you, and you played it all growing up, and I remember talking to you, you said, I think it was like the World Cup. What was it? 2010? Were you with us for the 2010 World Cup or
2011? I think
2011, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember you said to me sometime at the coffee. You're like, "It's one of these days I'm going to call a World Cup." I was like, okay. All right, go get it.
Go get it, kid.
Go get it.
Good luck to you.
It's like we're just standing at the coffee machine at KNBR at 5 a.m, but hey, go get it. You know what I mean? Well, listen to this news. Kate Scott has been announced as part of the Fox team that we'll call the Summer
Gotta get to my
Women's
applause. Hold on here.
World Cup.
Yeah.
This is,
Kate,
Goosebump City, huh?
Totally. I don't even know what to say.
Congratulations.
Blown away, Kate. Blown away.
Thank you, guys. And yeah, it's absolutely wild. As you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners who remember me from back in the day know, soccer was my first love. I played it since I was a teeny tiny Kate, and it was my travel sport. And I was going to play it in college, and then I tore my meniscus junior year, which at the time was devastating because, as a kid, you're thinking, this is my dream. I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to pay for college by playing soccer. And then who knows? There wasn't a professional women's league at that time, so I thought that hopefully, maybe if I played really well in college, I would get the attention of the U.S. women's national team, play for them, and be part of the next generation to help them win a World Cup and maybe a gold medal. That was the pinnacle of women's sports at that time. But the meniscus obviously changed all that and set me on the path that I have followed since then. So it was awful at the time, but then I got into broadcasting, and yeah, it's just been, my dad called me after he found out the news because he and I were kind of soccer fans together. He didn't know anything about the sport when I was growing up, right? Because growing up in the Central Valley of California, soccer's not a thing. But he fell in love with the sport when I started playing it. And we actually started reffing soccer together when I was in high school. That was kind of, when I wasn't playing, we would make a little cash on the side, reffing the nights and weekends together, which was a really fun father-daughter activity. And when the World Cup was in Japan, and I think it was 2002, he would wake me up at 2 a.m, so we would watch the matches together quietly in the living room. And he called the other day when the announcement came out, and he was like, Kate, you even forgot you were a ball girl for the Fresno State men's soccer team. Like, soccer has been in your blood since you started playing sports, and the fact that you stayed with it. So many people would have given up on their dream because it has taken such hard work, and so many times, you think you're deserving of a call. Man, I've been calling Pac-12 soccer for 6 years. Why aren't they calling me? Why aren't they calling me? But thankfully, mentors just kept telling me, Kate, keep putting in the work. Keep putting in the work. People are going to notice, and you're just going to keep getting better along the way. So, yeah, guys, it's wild. And Smurf, you'll like this. A couple of the matches I'm calling are Team Italia. I'm going to be calling the Italian women's, a couple of their group matches.
Oh,
so
that is awesome, but I actually have even a more, and you're right, I'm totally down with the Italian men's team, but you know who my women's squad is? Other than the U.S., of course. And by the way, I got to do the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago, and Julie Foudy went in, which was pretty awesome, having Julie there and all that. But you know what? My last trip to Dublin for the Second Captain's podcast at Christmas, we had, on one of the nights I did the show, one of the newly minted Women's World Cup Irish soccer midfielders was on the show with us. So I got to meet her and hang out with her. So that's my squad.
Well, and it should be, because I'm sure you know, and hopefully you talked about it, the Republic of Ireland, as they're called now, not just Ireland, it is the first time the women have qualified for a World Cup. And it's a huge deal here in Philly because two of the players, because you can have dual citizenship, right, we see it in a lot of sports, are Pennsylvania women who play. Yeah. And for listeners who are like, what? Go onto YouTube and just say Republic of Ireland women's soccer. And there's like a 7 or 10 minute little documentary on how they qualified. So and I watched it over the weekend. I started crying, guys.
Kate,
it's such a fantastic story.
I'm going to send you my Second Captain's guys are so talented. They put together these emotional videos. They find these really poignant soundtracks, and they strung together the goals that clinched it with this soundtrack. We had grown men with pints in their hands, tears streaming down their faces.
I love that. I love that.
It's so awesome. And the Philippines, another first-time women's qualifier, get to call one of their matches. I know we have a lot of Filipino fans in the Bay Area, so it's going to be a fun July.
Let's talk big picture, though. Is the U.S. going to win it?
They're not a lock as they have been in previous years, guys. So I think that, to me, is one of the most exciting things. They have a ton of talent, but they're the number one goal scorer, Mallory Swanson, tore ACL.
Married to, by the way, Brave shortstop Dansby Swanson, right?
Look at you. Look at you connecting the dots. But there's, as we have heard so many times over the past couple of years, there's been a ton of ACL injuries. on a lot of different teams, not just the U.S., but Mal Swanson was the number one. Somebody who was hoping to take her spot, Katarina Macario, who is going to be a freaking stud and superstar for the U.S. She played at Stanford, helped them win a couple of their national titles. She's out right now with a knee injury. So the U.S. coach is kind of like, okay, I have all these wonderful pieces, but you guys know, how do I put them together? We see it at the Olympics all the time. If all these star players come together, yeah, there's a lot of talent, but do they fit together as a good puzzle? So they are the most talented of all the teams in the country. But I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to put it all together as smoothly as they have in the past. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun because Spain, Germany, all these other superpowers have started to figure it out over the last couple of years. The Spain women have won a lot of the U20 and U18 championships the last few years. So I think it's going to be a really competitive, fun summer.
Well, it's just I have the grid in front of me. It starts July 20th. It climaxes, I think, on the 20th of August, I believe. So it's a month-long spectacle. It's really fun to watch, and you're going to be on the call.
I'll be all over that, Kate. I'm so happy for you.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So, as all said, we come to the end of the road, Kate, which means we have no time to discuss Seattle Seahawk football.
Which is probably for the best. No, there's probably best left unspoken. Yeah.
Listen.
All I got to say is I made sure to text all my friends at the 49ers before the announcement came out.
Out of respect.
You guys know your girl's just got to keep her foot in the NFL.
Of course.
You kidding me?
It's work. When a door opens, you got to walk through it.
That's right.
Yes,
of course, man.
And that doesn't mean we can't
100%.
throw tomatoes at you now, which we will.
No.
By the way, you will be with former 49er Michael Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Penn State's own.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
looking forward to him.
And just to make sure, Kate, everybody knows it's preseason, so you're keeping your day job as the Sixers.
Oh my gosh!
All right,
Sports Business Journal tweeting out, forgetting the word preseason. Yeah,
that was
really cool. It was cool to see so many Sixers fans who wanted to run me out of town the year before.
Right.
Now be like, no, don't go. We love you. So it was an inadvertently cool moment, Paulie. And last thing I want to say, everybody. Yeah. Don't forget, Father's Day, Sunday. So for all of you who are maybe all over the country away from your dads, get those cards or whatever in the mail soon so that dad feels celebrated.
Well, that's the guy.
Just as important as Mother's Day. Father's Day this weekend.
The guy that you ref soccer with in Clovis.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
There you go, man.
Yeah.
That's
filling them
awesome.
out right now for my pop. Yeah.
Okay. So the only question now is when do we do a weekly hit with Kate? That's
We'll talk to our people, right?
So excited for the Women's World Cup, and can't wait. That's only a month away. So you're boning up right now.
Yeah, man. First match for me is July 21st. So I'm actually starting to prep this morning.
Who do you have?
First match is Spain, Costa Rica.
Okay.
It's going to be
That's how we'll get started.
12:30 Pacific time at night. That's going to be the only trouble spot is that it's obviously in New Zealand, Australia. There's going to be some late kicks here on the West Coast, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
But you mentioned the Spanish women are powerful, so you'll have one of the powerhouses right out of the gate.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you, Kate Scott.
You're the best.
You are the best.
Hey, and congratulations. And don't forget
man.
Kate's mantra that she always said, even back at the coffee machine at 5 a.m., little by little, one walks far.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
There you go.
Not here without you guys. Just keep stepping, kids.
Yes,
keep
Much
taking
love,
care.
girl. Much love. Yeah.
Go ahead. Off you go.
Love you. Happy
Off you
Tuesday,
go.
everybody.
Yeah, there she is. Kate Scott.
Well, that just made my day. It made this a better day, and I'm going to go so far as to say, Marv, I think it just made me a better person.
There you go.
Having Kate Scott on the air, I'm so happy for her, and I'm all over this. I can't wait to hear her call in World Cup games.
Well, when she says, by the way, I'm not here without you, that's a lie. She is here without us.
She's a superstar. I told her day one, I don't know how many people I told you, but you're a star. I told her that early on.
It's also
I go, get ready.
inspiring, though, because she didn't start at age like 21 cracking the door. It took her a while
it does.
to get her first on-air job.
Like anything meaningful does. It takes time.
Then, when she got her first on-air job, she started aiming big, and it was like, all right. And like when she told me she's going to call a World Cup one day, I was like, okay, okay. I didn't say no, but I was like, that's going to be a tall mountain for her to climb. But
not only is she talented, she's like broken down barriers and stuff. She is really a special talent.
And so, as somebody wrote in here in 925, what talent and hard work can do.
See what I mean?
Hard work.
Shout out Kate Scott. Shout out Pat Riley. Those types.
Or, as I tell one of old Peach's favorite stories, I lived in Dublin, Ireland, and one of my buddies, we had a big old night out, went to bed at like 4 a.m, woke up at like 2 p.m, and he was smoking a cigarette and drinking a can of beer, and we put on Little House on the Prairie. All right, Little House on the Prairie.
Shout out
and Michael Landon was out.
Ingalls, or whatever her name is.
Michael Landon was out plowing the fields early in the morning.
Plowing fields, dude.
Came into the little cabin. He's like, it's just nothing like a morning of hard work to get you going. And my buddy Brian Kalu took a drag off his cig. He says, hard work. hard work. He's always effing going on about hard work.
You know what I mean? Right.
And he's a drag. He goes, what's so effing noble about hard work?
That's not a bad counterpoint, I got to say. Landed with his suspenders on.
Peaches love that story.
Yeah.
Okay, Dwayne Kuiper is 7:35 on KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
I'll drink a beer, but I just want to get back to my woman and my horses, and I'm good to go.
All right, let's talk about the good people at Marin Health. The North Bay is world-class beauty and, of course, a world-class destination, but it's also a world-class secret called Marin Health we want you to know about. It's not just the closest medical care, but the best. With a cardiology team that delivers treatment twice as fast as the national average, a world-class maternity care center with doctors and midwives available 24/7, an accomplished orthopedic team to get you back on the trail, and a partnership with UCSF that expands our world-class capabilities. It's all right here to get you closer to being your best. Marin Health, world-class care, closer than you think.
From the Chilton Auto Body Traffic Desk. the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. This has been the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. Do you want to pay less taxes this year? Learn more. Listen to David's show every Saturday morning on KNBR or call 1-866-PROTECT. Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Murph and Matt continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Butler one dribble, handoff for Robinson, nearly stolen. Back to Butler, contested three, missed it. Rebound, Bruce Brown. Miami has to foul. They do with 14 seconds to go. Rebound, Caldwell Pope, 10 seconds to go. Miami's not going to foul. No team in NBA history's waited longer. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets are finally NBA champions. They take down the Heat in 5 games. The Nuggets, the 2023 NBA champs.
There they are, man. And we're winning. I once had DJ Robbie do a Charlie Sheen mix up to this. Do you remember when Sheen, probably for about 3 weeks, he kept saying winning?
I totally remember. Don't forget, Brian Wilson got swept up in that whole thing. So he started dropping it too, and the whole got him thing, the whole Gaheem movement was underway.
And I had DJ Robbie take the Sheen winning and put it over. He had never heard the song. He's like, what? What song?
You know, like you mentioned earlier today, the confusion and the controversy over "I'm Not Here to Do Your Dirty Work," or what's the name of the track you mentioned?
Dirty Work. Yeah,
Dirty Work. This is another one of those. A lot of people would never guess this is a Santana song.
Yeah, because the vocal is done by whoever.
Some dude, yeah.
I'll tell you what vocal is done. Vocal not done by Greg O'Donnell, but he is helping you with your retirement. That's my transition. We are proudly sponsored by O'Donnell Financial Group because planning is a process for loans, insurance, investments, and retirement. Call Greg O'Donnell at 866-496-2300. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. I feel even though they're in the West, I feel no
animosity, no bad blood, right? No bile.
Kate was saying it was a knife to the heart. Now, for her as a Sixer, lifer or whatever, they haven't won one since '83, right?
They're waiting a long time now in Philly, yeah.
So she's attached herself to Philly and all that. But for the Warriors, we just won one last year. You know what I mean? So it's like, but and I just there's something about the Denver Nuggets from Mike Malone's Brian Sabian vibe.
The innocuous Denver Nuggets.
Not just innocuous, but kind of likable.
Yeah,
right?
Well, totally likable. They're a very likable bunch. Jamal Murray's likable. I don't know anybody who's not a fan of the Joker. I really don't. Maybe he's overlooked somewhat by the casual NBA
Keyshawn
fans.
Johnson on a rant saying he was boring.
I'm not sure I'm buying that. I don't think he's boring at all. The way he distributes the ball around the court, nothing boring about that.
Yeah, and that's something that we talked about last Friday when Murph, you had to leave the show early, and we had Howard Beck on, and I asked him about this narrative of people on Twitter complaining that Jokic is boring.
Yeah, they do.
They're saying, he can't jump, he's unathletic. What can't he do on the basketball court?
No, he doesn't.
He's the first player ever to lead all 3 major statistical categories in the postseason.
Yeah, and he's boring.
600 points, boring. Leads the NBA Finals,
and
rebounding,
nobody can
assists.
stop him
because he's not, he's not winning the dunk contest he's not leaping at the free throw line and throwing it down.
Well, that's cool. They got Aaron Gordon on the team too, who won the slam dunk contest.
Great comeback.
So he's 28 years old, and already I heard people placing him in the where is he in the all-time pantheon, which is sort of a function of today's world where we're always trying to rank
immediately want to anoint guys. Yeah,
but the fact is that the resume is already rich enough to be in the conversation with Shaq. Well, Russell won 11, so what are you going to do? He's got to leave him alone. Wilt, whatever. But Shaq, in the modern era, Shaq, Hakeem, and Jokic, sort of in that group now. Shaq won more titles, and so did Hakeem. He won 2, right? So, but it's right there.
Well, his level of play is certainly right there. He doesn't have the numbers that those other guys have because this is his first title. Most of the guys you mentioned have multiples. And obviously, Russell with 11, like you said, you can't compete with that. But the level of his play right now, certainly, you can put him alongside those guys.
Did you guys see his very deliberate post-game sportsmanship display?
Oh, dude, he went out of his way to make sure every hand was shaken. Is it shaking or shook?
How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was great. I love that, man. It's one of the greater. I think there should be more of that, actually. I could do it at the pregame, like hug fest and, I love you, you love me, here's the keys to my condo, then we're going to go compete.
Is that the hockey in you?
Yeah, probably. But then at the end, you shake hands, man. You say, hey, nice series.
You're such a competitor. Do you want to just kill your opponent and not shake their hand after?
Yeah.
No, I've actually got no problem with that at all because it wasn't the toughest battle, wasn't the toughest series for them, but I think he respects Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, that entire organization. I got no problem.
He was chasing guys down. Yeah.
He was even grabbing the 10th guy off the bench. Like, hey, you come here.
There's one kid he hugged up. I don't even know who the kid was. I've never seen him before.
He's still in his warm-up
Some white kid. Yeah, I'm like, who is this guy?
I think the kid was thrilled to shake Jokic's hand.
He had a huge smile on his face, that kid, yeah.
The other part I wanted to get into, and we'll get to the sound here in a second, was Malone just immediately going Pat Riley and saying, we're not done with one. I remember Riley did this when I was in LA when he guaranteed the repeat.
I guarantee we'll be back here again next year.
With Buster Posey.
And I believed him.
Buster Posey, let's enjoy this for a day, a week, a month, and come back and do it again.
That's my biggest takeaway from that ceremony, that Buster quote right there. And then I remember being out in front of him in the field there, or in the rows of seats or whatever, and just really responding to that. There was a huge roar when he said that. He
pounded the lectern.
Yeah.
And that Kruko tells a story about being in the hotel in Texas and getting into in the hotel bar, finally getting into the elevator at 4:30, and Buster was in there and said, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen all the time. And it was in Philly when they clinched the NL. They hadn't won the World Series yet. He said, this doesn't happen to this team. This doesn't happen. And Buster said, why not? So that's the Malone thing. Hey, little Jokic, you guys have to hear just how much fun he was.
I want some. Give it to me.
This is now maybe going to go down into the all-time annals of championship slogans here. Lisa Salters, ABC, you with Jokic. At the end, you're a champion.
Now you are an NBA champion, Nicola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Congratulations.
The job is done.
I mean, it's refreshing is really what it is. In this day of kind of self-promotion, self-obsession, here's me doing this on Insta, here's me doing that on Twitter. This guy just doesn't give a damn about any of that. So, it's kind of refreshing to get that kind of personality in the middle of this era where it's all about self-promotion. He could care less.
I don't even know if he's active on social media.
Job is done. He's a job mission complete. I can now return home base.
By the way, you know what I mean? I want to shout out the guy who knows his Serbian. And I saw the little girl had Tata on the back. I thought that was her name. He said, no, dude, that's Serbian for dad. So she was wearing a dad.
I thought you were saying it was L&T Tata Tuesday. Somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say it. It might as well be me.
By the way, there was a point where Jokic says he looked at his phone and was annoyed at how many texts he has. Let's hear this.
Congratulations. I'm going to see that he's testing me, no? I don't know. I mean, mom.
Oh.
How many texts you have?
A lot. I'm gonna turn off the phone.
He doesn't need that. He's like, I don't need this nonsense.
At a certain point, the congratulations texts get annoying, right? Stop congratulating me.
Turn off my phone. Yeah.
Like, hey, Jokic, I'm a good friend of yours, and I'm going to show my friendship by not texting you.
Right. He'd probably appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go. More Jokic I've told you guys, it's not just that he goes for little trots with those horses. He races them in the buggy.
That's why he's got the helmet on.
He's already thinking about that back in Serbia.
Yeah.
Next week or two look like for you now? You got a parade coming up here on Thursday.
Yes.
How soon till you're back in Sombor?
I need to, Sundays I have my horse racing in my
horse racing. I was going to get to that. The horse racing.
Maybe, I don't know how we're going to arrive. Thursday parade, Friday maybe.
Would you make it?
I don't know.
Maybe you can have enough time to squeeze it in.
I'm gonna ask Josh to give me a plane.
Oh, I think he'll definitely let you get the team plane.
I think you deserve that.
You deserve a little bit more than that.
I did it on TV. I'm going to finish by.
I put him under the pressure. Yes, I did.
Nicole,
I don't feel bad at all.
Right, put him under the pressure is the best.
Talk about Josh Kroenke.
Put him under the pressure.
Stan Kroenke's son, who's the point man on the Nuggets. I'm going to ask Josh for a plane.
I put him under the pressure.
I put him under the pressure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Which is that song by the War on Drugs, Under the Pressure.
Shout out, right.
We used to use, I think, for our Kruk and Kype.
You won't hear that no more.
Well, no. Mike Malone, congratulations to him. His dad was Brendan Malone, lifetime NBA coach. He's
Happy
a
for
lifetime
Mike
NBA
Malone.
guy.
Yeah.
Here he is celebrating.
It hasn't hit me, and I don't think it's going to hit me tonight because I'm going to drink too much. These moments are surreal. I mean, like, I got in the league 22, 23 years ago, and I dreamed of becoming a head coach, not knowing if I'd ever be given that opportunity. It doesn't come easy. My father was a head coach once, and he's the best coach I know. So to get to this point, to win a championship is just, as you reflect upon all the people who helped you get here. I mean, my high school coach, Bobby Farrell, Seton Hall Prep. My prep school coach, Tom Blackburn, who passed away last year. The coaches I worked for in college, Pete Gillen. I mean, like, everybody like Greg Campy that gave me an opportunity to grow and improve, to get to this. This is like a many, many year-long process, and you don't do it by yourself.
Super likable guy, Mike Malone. You want to hear him, though, talk about, like, laying the groundwork for 2024. Here he was right after here. Yeah.
Yep. But I got news for everybody out there. We're not satisfied with one. We want more. We want more.
You get swept up in that moment, man. You can say anything. Yeah.
And then Jamal Murray, guys. So he grew up outside of 90 minutes outside of Toronto. And I guess his dad, I was reading his dad, and he, from a young age, you're going to be a champ. You're going to be a champ. I guess his dad was big on mental preparation, one of those dads. But like a loving relationship, not a hateful relationship.
Murph, he was talking about some prior injuries throughout the postseason run, and he talked about the time where his dad made him do squats on the wall with boiling cups of tea sitting on his thighs to help build up his pain endurance.
That's pretty severe. Now you get the hot liquids involved,
dude.
You get scalded if your form is off.
That's incredible.
I just burned my quads.
Well, yeah, it says he grew up 90 minutes outside of Toronto. He created fictitious playoff brackets, putting himself in imaginary games against Chauncey Billups.
Nice.
His father, Roger, said it was uncommon preparation and development. And then he tears his ACL right here at Chase Center.
Yeah.
And now he's a champ. He got emotional.
Jamal, just 2 years ago this time, you were barely able to walk, but you vowed to come back even better than you were before. Can you describe to me what this championship journey has been like for you?
It's just an amazing feeling. I blood, sweat, and tears to get back to this point. Everybody on my team in here, everybody on the floor believe in me to get back to myself. And we proved a lot of doubters wrong. And I mean, look at this.
I got to give it up, too. I got to give it up to that Denver crowd last night. They started, when it was clear, I think it was after Butler missed that kind of haymaker three, and then they got the ball, like, the volume started to swell when they were walking down the other end. I'm like, that's a special moment. And even there, Murph, you could hear like just the heart and soul in those cheers. That's a special night.
Congratulations. Yeah. All right, there you go. Hey,
all right, man.
That's it for the Nuggets right now. We'll go back to that in the big hit.
Nuggets.
Dwayne Kuiper about this Giants team that got back to 2 games over 500 with a nice comeback win yesterday.
Can I get greedy and say I want another?
Yes, you can.
I want another.
We'll talk about it with Kype next on KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
I put him under the pressure. Yes, I did. I don't feel bad at all.
All right, everybody. Paulie Mack saying thanks for listening to Murph and Mack today. We appreciate your company. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Metallica. Great band right out of San Francisco. The entire Bay Area loves Metallica. The whole world loves Metallica. And now I want to talk about Metallica's whiskey. It's called Blackened. I've been talking about this for a while now. For Father's Day, it would make a great gift for your old man, especially if he's a Metallica fan and he hasn't tried Blackened whiskey yet. It's done in the spirit of innovation, as all things are done in the Metallica world. We're talking about seasoned experts and distillers involved for the fine blend of straight bourbon and rye whiskeys, uniquely finished, sonically enhanced in the brandy casks. We've talked about that. Each bottle has its own playlist of Metallica tracks. It's really cool. You can get that on Spotify. And it was also recently awarded a platinum medal at the Ascot Award. So again, great tasting whiskey, especially for your old man on Father's Day. Trust me, it's a great gift. And Blackened whiskey for any Metallica fan is just going to up the ante right there. Blackened whiskey is whiskey remastered. Check out the store locator on blackenedwhiskey.com. You can find out where you can get some near you. Again, it's blackenedwhiskey.com to find a retailer near you.
Be caller 10 to 415-896-KNBR for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see your Giants take on the Padres. Thursday, June 22nd. First pitch, 12:45. Presented by Toyota, the MVP of MPG, with class-leading MPG and more hybrids than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places. Bay Area.
Good morning. Good morning.
Brace yourselves for KNBR's Power Surge. The sports leader welcomes you to Murph and Max Power Hour. Giants fans, there's no question we've got the best in the booth. That's why we all mimic his call. Time for Murph and Mac to catch up with Kype.
Sponsored by your NorCal Honda dealers. Check out the new models that are arriving daily. Buy or reserve yours today.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. 680 AM.
All right, Giants, look at these guys. So they sweep Denver. We're all excited. Then they lose 2 to the Cubs. We're like, what? And now they win 2. Sunday getaway day and in St. Louis, and they're back 2 over. So here we go. The give and take, and right now it's give, or is it take? Which one's better, giving or taking?
Well, you're supposed to give. I think that's better.
They won the damn game.
Yeah.
That's the point. Giants 4, Cardinals 3. Little comeback win. Logan Webb, Camila Duvall, Pat Bailey, Mitch Haniger,
real nice
Brandon
win.
Crawford, all with starring roles. And now the starring role is for Dwayne Kuiper every Tuesday at this time. Kype, good morning. How are you?
What's up?
Oh, the Giants won. That's what's up. What'd you think of that one last night, huh? That was a nice one.
I'm a little surprised by the surpriseness in your voice.
Okay, we can explore it. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to get a handle. I'd like them to get a few games over 500. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm tired of being 2 over, 2 under 500. I agree.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And really, the history of what is going on this year is the clubs that they're supposed to be taking advantage of, they're not. Kansas City, Detroit, there was some other, Washington. Pittsburgh's really good, but I think, you feel like you should be able to take 2 out of 3 from them. And it hasn't happened. But the encouraging thing was taking those 3 in Denver. I mean, I don't care what kind of club the Rockies have year in and year out. It doesn't really matter whether it's the Bass Street Bombers or whatever they call themselves, or, the expansion team. It's just going to be tough to win in that place.
Totally.
And those 3 games, they were hugely important, because now you come back home and you think you're going to take advantage of the Cubs, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, Friday, Saturday, the Cubs beat you. And so the win Sunday was huge, just to save face, and a really nice start with Logan Webb last night. So, and you know what? They have a way of, falling behind, not by a lot, but by just enough for them to come back. And that's what they did last night. So it's a good start, because this is a tough trip.
Yeah, nifty one. A couple of things to highlight. The catcher again.
Here we go.
So we missed him a little bit when he had this neck thing, Pat Bailey. He comes back last night, and this is sort of a multi-parted question here, Kype, because he has a nice game, 2 for 3. He has an 11-pitch at bat that leads to the double, that leads to the Crawford game-tying hit.
That was a nice battle.
Also, Webb says after the game, I'm letting him call the game now, which is a huge deal. And then the other part of it, Kype, is that Joey Bart gets activated and sent to Sacramento. And there's the move. Like, there's the transition right in front of our eyes.
But is anybody surprised by that?
No.
I mean, I don't even think Joey Bart is surprised by that.
Right.
I mean, that's the part of being a major leaguer. This is a league where you have to produce.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you have to go somewhere to produce to get back up here. And that's what he needs to do. And I'm sure that it's tough on Joey Bart to look up and to see Patrick Bailey now is the number 1 starting catcher for the Giants. And that's his job to lose. So that's hard to take. But if you want to still evolve and be a terrific big leaguer, and he's got all the tools to do that, then you have to do it at the AAA level. Every once in a while there are guys that struggle a little bit at the AAA level, got to the big leagues and took off. But that's not the norm. So he's got work to do. And what he also has to realize is, look, I'm not playing to impress one team. I'm playing to impress 30 teams, because you could be involved in a trade.
Right.
But you have to be producing to be involved in a good trade. So, like I said, I don't think anybody is surprised where Joey Bart is, because he's got to polish things up and get back here.
Meantime, Bailey continues to take advantage of his story, and he's up to 317 now. Really, really impressive. Giants, by the way, back at it tonight, 4:45, and trying to get to 3 games over with Alex Cobb, who's had such a great year, against the talented right-hander Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals. 4:45 first pitch. Kype, so many other different things to get to from that game last night. And I should tell everybody while I have your ears that Matt Cain joins Papa and Lund today at 10:30 this morning. So that should be fun. But Brandon Crawford, we haven't talked to you since the multiple things happened. The big hit in Colorado, that was just a big, big swing of the bat for him to tie the game late. The relief pitching appearance on Sunday that seemed to light up everybody, and most of all Crawford. And then last night, 2 more hits. He's off the interstate. He's up to 202, and he got the game-tying hit. So there's so much to talk about here with Crawford. I don't know which one of those excites you the most, the Colorado hit, the relief appearance, or last night. And I guess my ultimate question, Kype, is are we watching him sort of reclaim the everyday job?
Well, I think, Murph, one of the reasons why he's playing well is he's not playing every day.
Aha, there you go.
Yeah, okay. And I don't mean that as an insult to Brandon. I mean, I think there comes a point in your career, age-wise, where playing 4 times a week, maybe 5, is really going to help you. It really is. And sometimes it's just not helping you physically, but it's giving your brain a break just to relax. And look, he comes into the game Sunday. I mean, he sat around, enjoyed it, was a great cheerleader, and then he comes in and pitches the 9th inning. And by the way, it started out looking like a disaster. I told Mike, I said, look, in his entire life, with the exception of in high school a few times, he's thrown on flat ground. Now he's thrown on a hill.
Yeah.
And throwing on a hill is a lot different. So it took him a couple of hitters to figure it out, and of course he did. But these are the things that kind of I can't think of a better word other than this stuff turns him on. He loves this stuff.
Nice.
He hit a batting practice home run, I think in Denver one day, left-handed. And it didn't take him more than 20 minutes to send me the video. Stuff like that. He just loves that stuff. Who knows what the heck he's going to do when he gets out of the game? I mean, we might see videos of him surfing, hang gliding, bungee jumping. Who knows? But he's been fun to watch. And look, you do things like that and you get some hits, and all of a sudden you don't feel 35, you feel 25. And I think that's the stretch that he's going through right now.
That's an outstanding point. That maybe the legs are there because of that rest. It's very, very good. So Brandon Crawford, go get it, whether it means playing every 2 out of 3 or whatever. It's just great to see the week he's had. Really charged up all the old Crawford fans. And last night, huge knock. Found a hole last night to score Bailey. The other story from last night, Kype, was Camilo Doval. El Camilo Real. Papa calls him Cruella Doval.
Well,
okay, so we got all these ones going here. Bottom line is he's 3rd in baseball in saves. Only Clase in Cleveland and Romano in Toronto have more. This guy's one of the top 3 closers in baseball. And then last night, Gabe asked for the 4-out save, which is the old Brian Wilson save, right? And he has done it a couple of times this year, but it had been over a month, I think, since he'd done it, maybe even 2 months. It was an unusual thing, but he has that in his bag, I guess.
He really does.
Well, he's got the youth and the arm strength to be able to do it. And, look, you don't want to do it all the time. But I do think that there are spots that when you're in the 8th inning and you got a guy coming up that you only want your closer to face, then you got to pull the trigger. And that's what Gabe did. He's pretty fantastic. He has to make the All-Star team. I mean, that would be a sin if he doesn't. And, and look, I think Webb and Cobb have a shot. I mean, the voting isn't very good right now for the Giants.
No,
players.
It's terrible.
And, I don't know if our fans all of a sudden, blow up the internet, if that's going to be good enough. But
yeah,
you'd like for the numbers at least to be respectable.
Yep, right.
And I think the players appreciate that, but I don't think that their main concern right now, those involved in the All-Star voting, care as much about that as they do trying to take care of their business on this tough road trip. So, but Duvall has got to go. That's a must.
I'm with you.
Yeah, right now he's the guy. And by the way, to Kype's point, the MLB released the first ballot of voting. The only Giant who's in the top 5 at any position is J.D. Davis.
Really?
He's 4th at 3rd base right now.
All right.
But he has no shot because the 3 guys ahead of him are in a big race. Arenado, Muncy, and Austin Riley for the Braves. So, yeah, it's just one of those years. If it is Doval, it's Doval, yeah.
And first base, the talent at first base is overwhelming.
Yeah.
But of all those guys, hey, I'm in with Lamont Wade. I really am. But, first base is pretty crowded with the Freemans and the Goldschmidts and Christian Walker, that group. But I like our guy a lot.
Yeah, right now in the NL, it's Freddie Freeman's running away with it. And then Pete Alonso's second, Matt Olson's third, Goldschmidt is fourth. Those are pretty good
Tough
players.
names. Yeah, that's a tough list, Kype.
But the Giants get the win last night. We're talking to Dwayne Kuiper. Giants get the 4-3 win. Nice W. And Mitch Haniger. This is a guy we haven't talked a lot about, Kype, because he hasn't gotten it going, and he was in a funk going into this game, but he got 2 big knocks yesterday. I don't know if you've seen anything with him. I mean, I'm sure if he was sitting right here with us right now, he'd be like, man, I'm playing for my hometown team. I have not had the first 2 months I wanted, but nice night last night and a lot of ball left, Kype. What are you seeing with Haniger?
Well, we've always felt like, he's ready to break out. And once he has a good game or two, we're saying, all right, this is it. He's going to go on a roll now that's going to be unbelievable. And for whatever reason, that just hasn't happened. But if he gets it going, and he might, and it might have been started last night, this lineup is going to be a lot tougher. Because not only can he get the big hit to knock in runs, but he can hit the ball a long way out of the ballpark. And I'm sure he's not happy with 4 home runs, 2 of them in Mexico City. Such a he's I don't know if you've ever met him, but he's a great guy, and everybody's pulling for him to get it going because he can go from hitting 7th to hitting cleanup in 2 days. And that's kind of what we're all hoping for.
Yeah, he's only hitting 231 right now.
The other thing, too, is veterans like Haniger, they don't worry about, geez, I got to get a couple of hits because there's a guy in AAA that is lighting it up. Veteran guys don't worry about that. Younger guys worry about stuff like that. But there is a guy in AAA lighting it up. And he just happens to be an outfielder.
Yeah.
So it's not a move that you make unless there's some type of an injury or a trade. But it is fun to see what Matos is doing in AAA.
It is, and let's use a moment to spring off of that, Kype, because it has been one of the things we've talked about over the last few days. He's going off, 3 homers this weekend. So what do you say to the fans who are like, bring him up now? Because they're saying that. And my answer is like, well, who's he replacing?
That they can't answer.
Well, somebody says Yastrzemski. I said, well, you want to bench Yastrzemski? I don't know. No, Haniger. Well, do you want to bench Haniger? I don't know. There's no room at the end, Kype.
Yeah. Call him up and let's sit him on the bench and let's cool him off. That would be really good for him. No, I mean, if you call him up, he's got to play, and he's got to play all the time. So he's right where he belongs, unless there's an injury that opens up a spot, and he just has to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, I think other people have to remember that numbers in AAA are a lot different than the numbers in the big leagues. And what you see in AAA pitching-wise is not what you see in the big leagues. So it's not automatically going to just, he's going to step in, and that's it. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. Major league pitchers have a way of making sure that doesn't happen. We're watching Casey Schmidt right now, who tore it up for 30 at-bats. But those of us who have been around this game we know what's going to happen. They're going to figure him out, and now he's going to start chasing pitches that he didn't see, and now he's got to figure it out again.
Right.
And he's so talented that he will. But Matos is doing exactly what you have to do to get really, really noticed. And then when something happens, you're the guy. But I saw a stat, maybe it was from a scout, where AAA guys aren't seeing a lot of 99-mile-an-hour fastballs. They're seeing a lot of 94. And when you jump to this level, almost every guy coming out of that bullpen is throwing 98. So when he comes up, he's going to have to prove that he can keep doing what he's doing. But there isn't a spot for him, and that's a good thing.
There isn't a spot for him. There's the answer. And these things sometimes work themselves out. Nobody wants an injury ever, but these things happen, and we shall see. But man, just stay hot, kid, down there in Sacramento, AAA Sacramento. We're talking about Louis Matos here. Last few minutes here with Dwayne Kyper on a Tuesday as the Giants get a 4-3 win over the Cardinals. They get to 2 games over 500. They are actually technically tied for the 3rd wild card spot right now, if you care. And the Giants get going into tonight with Alex Cobb doing his thing against Jack Flaherty and the Cardinals. And then the Dodgers. Kype, are you going to be at Dodger Stadium?
I'm not.
Okay. All right.
The workload for Mike and I was going to be a little bit heavy, so we took this road trip off.
Okay.
And then I think my travel schedule ramps up in August and September, but not so much in June and July.
Okay.
For the chase for the
way,
yeah.
The Giants beat the Cardinals last night, right?
Yeah, Cardinals.
Yes.
What did the Cardinal do?
Wait, say again?
What did the Cardinal do?
Oh, the Cardinal. Oh,
you're talking Stanford Cardinal. Oh, man.
You caught me on that one.
No.
It took Waterboy to save me. He put into his Stanford hat. Did you watch
Total chaos, Kype, out there. It was mayhem.
Oh, my God.
Mayhem.
I watched it. I was dialed in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, nuts out there.
So many things, including Kype, before the crazy finish, the kid Rios who thought he hit the game-winning homer, and it went off the wall, and half the team ran out to home plate and had to turn around and run back, and he almost got thrown out of second base.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, you talk about, the old, what was it, Wide World of Sports on Saturday?
Yeah.
The guy, the skier going down the thrill of
agony of defeat. Yeah.
That is the thrill of victory, agony of defeat. Texas, all they have to do is catch a fly ball.
Oh, man.
They're done.
Yeah.
And the kid never saw it. And, I just couldn't believe it. I'm thinking half of the rooting contingent hates baseball right now. The other half thinks it's the greatest thing in the world.
Right?
Because if you're Texas, you're going, you know what? This sucks. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
No.
You hit a fly ball, you catch it, you go to the World Series.
That's it.
So, I mean, I feel bad for Texas.
I saw the manager for Texas said life isn't always fair.
Oh, man. I mean, that's just tough.
Yeah, I mean, you got to rally the troops somehow.
We said it's going to be
make sure they all get up the next morning and get on a plane to go home.
Well, did you see the pitcher who was the outstanding Big 12 pitcher of the year, who was Carvin? As soon as that ball went in the air, he had a very proud and triumphant strut to the dugout. You didn't even look back.
I mean, all that stuff, you go back and you go, how did that happen?
No.
Poor guy. And that right fielder had, in the previous inning, made one of the throws of the year when he threw out a runner tagging with like an absolute seed to third base.
Just one of those moments.
And that guy was a hero an inning earlier.
Right.
I'd like to know what time did that game start? Like 5 o'clock?
5,
something like that. 5:30. Yeah, 5.
It was around 8-ish, something like that. 8:30.
Yeah, so the sky would be kind of like getting ready to get dark.
Mm-hmm.
So if you rub up a baseball, and when it's that type of night, and you hold that ball up to the sky, you realize how close of color it really is. Because baseballs aren't white. Remember, they rub them things down so that there's, a little bit of, I don't want to say dirt, but, just to make it not so smooth. And so you hold that ball up, I guarantee you it was about the same color as the sky, and that's what got him.
The tears streaming down the Texas players' faces, that Stanford players just couldn't be more ebullient, running around, tackling each other. Just the agony of defeat.
Another reason for the people at Texas to hate us in California.
Right?
Yeah, the list continues. Yeah. The list gets longer.
I mean, game 3, 6-6, ninth inning, Omaha on the line. Stanford draws now the powerhouse that is the Wake Forest, the number 1 team in the nation with like the best pitching staff on Saturday. But who cares? They're going to Omaha.
Stanford's showing up.
Yeah.
It was, up until I got to the big leagues, it was the coolest part of my life.
Yeah.
As a baseball player.
Southern Illinois team that you were on went to Omaha. People who are Kyper heads know that, but some don't.
That's awesome.
Kype went to Omaha with his Southern Illinois team.
Yeah.
And we got to the championship game, and Southern Cal was so good and they were the perennial favorites to win it almost every year. And Steve Busby beat us in the final game, but it was awesome. I mean, my dad, who was farming heavily at that time, shut the farm down. He was there for a whole week. The whole family.
Nice.
So what year was that, Kype?
That was 1971.
Heck yeah.
And was it's called Rosenblatt Stadium? Was it very different then? Yeah. They've redone it, right?
Well, I think it's a whole new stadium.
Oh, it's a different stadium. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's in the same location, but I went back there, I don't know, 3 years later, because that Omaha was in the American Association. I was playing in Oklahoma City. So I went back to Rosenblatt to play AAA, and that's where I got called up to the big leagues.
Wow. Rosenblatt. That's pretty exciting. Hey, by the way, I have the bracket for you guys. You guys beat SC in the first meeting.
Nice.
We did. We had to beat them twice.
Yeah, you beat them 8-3. Then Tulsa got you guys 9-4. They kick you down to the losers bracket. You beat Texas Pan Am to get back, and then you guys played. Yeah, they beat you 7-2.
Well, and then Murph, there were 3 teams that had the same record, and they flipped a coin for one of those teams not to have to play to get to the championship round, and we won the coin flip.
Yes, that's awesome. That's why you
seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, I see.
Anyway.
You know who was on that Texas team that you were there? It was Bert Hooten.
Bert Hooten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some really talented guys. There was a lot of guys.
Oh, they didn't make it. I'm sorry.
In that World Series that got to the big leagues, including Freddie Lynn. I mean, I told you that story.
Yeah.
We started a left-hander, and he didn't play.
That's incredible.
That's how good Southern Cal was.
Yeah. They were the team then. They've fallen off now, thankfully. But, that's pretty cool. So go Stanford, and congrats to them, and poor Texas. Feel so bad for that kid.
It's a tough loss, man. You know.
But like they said, life ain't fair.
No.
Life ain't fair.
Neither is baseball. Life in baseball, not fair.
If there was ever an example of how you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. I mean, it's not even a bad hop ground ball. I mean, we laugh all the time and say there's no bad hops on fly balls or pop-ups. Well, I don't know.
Speaking of bad hops, before we let you go, there was a hop last night on Brandon Crawford I'd never seen before. See that one?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that hit the lip. But usually when it hits the lip, it stays down. But, yeah, that one. Hey, the way Crawford's going right now, that's about the only way he didn't catch it.
Right.
So, anyway, I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, and it's
we got no more NBA, right?
No more.
No, it's over now. Denver got it, Kype.
We had nothing to work. Congratulations. That's a first for that franchise, right?
It is.
First time, 47 years.
That's your old town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Murph, that is not my old town, okay?
You spent a year there.
I got to correct that right now.
1993.
That's not my town.
I know my
Nobody
Kype.
Nobody remembers that I was there for 1 year. Living out of a hotel. Kids are 5 and 3.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Miserable.
Yeah, right. I gotcha.
So I remember I read that the late Rick Majerus, who was the basketball coach, he lived in a hotel all the time.
When he was coaching?
All the time.
Yeah.
And he said it's great.
Kind of looked like it, too.
He said, I come home and my room's been made. My bed's been made.
That's one way to look at it, Dwayne. But there's no Kringle there, I'll tell you that.
Well, he was Al McGuire's assistant at Marquette.
Nice.
So that's how, I followed Rick Majerus. He had a great personality.
Yeah. And you can't knock that made bed. That's a pretty cool deal.
I wish mine was, yeah. Got to admit.
Yeah, somehow mine doesn't always end up made either.
Okay.
But Rick Majerus was.
Before I was married, I always wondered what the big deal was.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like a teenager's attitude as to why make it? I'm going to use it.
But there's something to. Isn't there something to the
It's all
visual?
fresh, yeah.
You know what I mean,
you know what? the last 4 or 5 years that I've traveled, I've had to do not disturb on the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't even come on in.
Don't even bother.
Do towels?
Off limits, man.
Gotta get some towels.
Well, I just take some towels from the cart.
That's it.
That's it. Nice
you don't
move.
want them in there, Kype, huh?
I got you.
No, it's just like, hey, it's my home. I'm fine.
I totally got you.
It's my
I do
home,
that
I'm
sometimes too. I
fine.
do.
There it
I know
is.
what he means. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, come on in and check out my home for 3 days.
yeah, right. Right. Go through my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
So,
All right,
anyway.
Dwayne. Well, great win. Everybody's in a good mood.
Want another one.
And,
Let's do it.
We'll have a great week of Cardinals and Dodgers, and we will talk to you next week.
Can't wait.
He's the man. Dwayne Kuiper, and you're listening to KNBR and KNBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station. Enjoyable. Do you like, I don't you prefer the service if you're at a hotel?
You know what? It's funny that Kai brought that up because just when I went down to L.A., I went to the Forum, saw that Dead show about a month ago. Same thing. Do not disturb the whole time.
Was that because you were,
Well, there was, I
don't know.
Plus, you don't want to invite trouble. You know what I'm saying? Triple E knows. He starts laughing. I didn't even say anything, but he started laughing. But yeah, sometimes you don't need to invite them in just in case. The
big hit
spun a couple
history. The NBA Finals, Nikola Jokic, the Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone. What does it mean?
Let's go, baby.
What does it mean? Next on The Sports Leader.
Kype with Murph and Mac has been sponsored by
Your Northern California Honda dealers at NorCalHondaDealers.com.
the Murph and Mac Power Hour surges on.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Next on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader. Here's what's trending now.
Trending now.
On KNBR.com.
Scott Ostler stopped by the Murphy Mac Show yesterday morning to talk about the Oakland A's attempt to move to Las Vegas. To hear that podcast and more, check out what's trending now on the all-new KNBR app.
This is Murph and Mac's Big Hit.
I'll take a hit.
Hit me. Hit me. A hit is a hit, you pathetic schlepper.
Fly ball into left field. Nice hit.
Sponsored by Benjamin Moore Paints. Experience the Benjamin Moore retail difference at their independently owned authorized retailers today or at BenjaminMoore.com.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Here's Murray, inside pass out to Caldwell Pope. Flips it to the free throw line. The Joker floater. Nikola Jokic with another. He's got 26 here in Game 5.
They're now Russell looking for a shot. Backs in. Turns, shoots, and scores. And the Heat take a 1-point lead. Clutch buckets from Jimmy Butler.
Here we go. Adebayo's handed the ball. Finds Butler at the top. 23 seconds to go. Down 3. Butler one dribble, handoff for Robinson, nearly stolen. Back to Butler, contested 3, missed it. Rebound, Bruce Brown. Miami has to foul. They do with 14 seconds to go. 3 Super Bowl titles by the Broncos, 3 Stanley Cup championships by the Avs.
Watch Kyle Lowry coming in from out of bounds.
Lowry, right base sideline, gets it in, gets it back, shoots a 3, no good. Rebound, Caldwell Pope, 10 seconds to go. Miami's not going to foul. No team in NBA history's waited longer. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets are finally NBA champions. They take down the Heat in 5 games. The Nuggets, the 2023 NBA champs.
This year's Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Nikola Jokic.
Man, the big hit, and congratulations to all ye Nuggets, Nugget Nation out there doing their thing. And
Sammy Houston on down.
Place this into perspective. First take right out of the gate. First of all, Mark Kestisher on the call. Good job. And he said no team has waited longer. And I was thinking, really?
47 years, Murph.
So here are the teams that have never won an NBA Finals.
Ooh,
the
this is
Phoenix Suns have never won an NBA.
Long time.
The Orlando Magic.
Yep.
The Nets franchise has never won one.
Good one.
The Utah Jazz.
Yeah, they've been there, but not quite.
The Indiana Pacers. Probably your Indiana Pacers.
Totally for life.
The Clippers have never won
that's
one.
Probably going to continue.
The Grizzlies have never won one. The Hornets have never won one. The Pelicans have never won
Pretty
one.
long list.
And the Timberwolves. So
Pretty
it's
long list.
10.
Yeah.
However, of those 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have never even made a finals. The Clippers, Grizz, Hornets, Pelicans, and Timberwolves.
Oh, man.
Pacers have only made one final, 2000.
Yep.
The Jazz made 2. They went up. They were in the
Jordan thing.
They were in the unlucky club.
Yep.
They just drew
like
the
all
wrong
those guys,
team.
Barkley, the Jazz, all those teams.
The Nets went to 2
Yeah.
in 03 and another year. The Magic went to 2, and the Suns have been to 3, including as recently as 2021 when they lost to the Bucks.
That famous 76 series against Boston, that was a famous one.
And then they lost to Jordan.
They did. There's another one. That's right. That's when they had Barkley.
Yeah.
But in fact, Barkley was an MVP with the Suns when Jordan's Bulls beat the Suns. So the Suns have... Jordan prevented a lot of teams from going forward. I had a quick question for the Waterboard before we dive into this. Murph said off the air, or I think it was off the air earlier today, he goes, is the honeymoon with Adam Silver over?
They were booing.
As the commission.
They were booing him last night.
I've noticed the same thing. They're like
a little bit, not huge boos,
but they're turning on him now.
Yeah.
They're turning on
he's
him.
not at the point of Roger Goodell, but he's definitely going down that path.
Yeah.
The whole John Morant stuff. There's some stuff going on outside of the court, outside of the country that people don't like.
No, that's it.
There's some people clapping back at
And
Adam
I heard
Silver.
the Adam Silver at the beginning, the Bill Russell Trophy. But you're right. I think people are upset with the way the job thing's been handled, among other things. That's just one.
So what a deal for NBA. What does it mean? It means that Nikola Jokic joins the shortest of lists. A, he's got 2 MVPs and a championship now. B, he's the lowest draft pick ever to win a Finals MVP, the 41st pick in the draft.
Right.
The prior winner of that was a guy, we'd have been here all night.
Prior.
Out of Pepperdine, DJ, Dennis Johnson, the late Dennis Johnson.
I know, rest in peace.
Who was drafted 29th, wound up winning the NBA Finals MVP for the 79 Sonics, which I just mentioned on Sunday.
So when did he get traded to Boston? 80, because he won a title in 81 with them.
Was it
right?
81? Next year.
Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. So it may have been the very next year. So outstanding trivia there. He also becomes the 6th foreign-born player to win an NBA Finals.
Another good stat.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, technically foreign-born, U.S. Virgin Islands, and then my guy Hakeem Olajuwon. They go through Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. They go through Phoenix, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. They go through the Lakers, LeBron and AD, and then they go through Jimmy Butler and Spo and Bam Adebayo to do that.
And they pretty much made all their opponents look like they had no chance.
I got a stat for you. 16-4.
Remember what they did to the Lakers? They just rolled. And I thought that was actually going to be a series going in, and it wasn't at all. I'm like, damn, this Nuggets team is no joke.
16-4 is the best run other than the Warriors going 16-1 with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that was some badass.
It hasn't happened in 16 years. The 07 Spurs went 16-4.
Another good stat from this postseason is are the Miami Heat, Spoelstra's Heat, the only team to win a game in Denver. They're the only team to get one.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Nikola Jokic is the guy, MVP, and he's not only the MVP, he's doling out quotes of the year.
Oh, I can't wait.
I want this on the statue here. Lisa Salter's with him on the floor, ABC TV, right after the win.
Now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Congratulations.
I mean, that's it.
You talk about a man, a few words.
The job is done. Now, the question is...
The mission is complete.
We've wanted to know if we could add this to the end of the
Murph and Matt farewell sound package.
We say the game. That's the end of the game from the Cowboy-Niner game when Dak slid.
That's the end of the game.
What do you guys think about adding this one? The job is done.
Let's hear it again with that in mind. Let's just review it together because I think I like where your head's at.
Now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Yes, add it. I'm all in on that, dude.
Okay,
we need some jokers sending our audience off into their day.
Meanwhile, Jokic is so funny. He was having trouble opening champagne. He shook everybody's hand. He was being a sportsman. His brothers came in and threw Mike Malone up in the air. But then there's this problem. He just wants to go home.
Yeah.
He wants to go home to Serbia.
Yeah, ride his horses.
And they said there's a parade on Thursday. And he's like, oh, man.
There might be a problem.
Check it out.
Yeah.
You said after the Lakers win, you said you were surprised that you didn't feel more. So I'm curious what you are feeling right now and if you're looking forward to a parade coming up in Denver.
When is parade? When is parade?
Thursday.
No. I need to go home.
That's it.
Okay.
I know, the heavy sigh.
I mean, you know.
He's not messing around. He goes, no, that's no good. When is parade? When is
from
parade?
Serbia. It's beautiful. He wants to get back to his little Serbian village.
And he's got races to attend to. He's got horse races on Sunday.
On that coming up.
It's hilarious. The dude just won his first ever NBA Finals, and all he's talking about is going home. It reminded me of the scene in Forrest Gump where he's just been running for miles and miles and miles, and then he stops and he goes, I'm kind of tired. I think I'll go home now.
He had the big beard at that point.
I heard you make that illusion this morning at 5:10 when I was not crashing my car into a pole.
Thank goodness for that.
And I got to ask you, and I got to ask everybody.
Go ahead.
What did that mean? I still don't know.
What are you talking about? In Gump?
When Gump. Why? What was the mean? Like, what was the mean?
I'll let Marcus handle this.
I just felt like running, Murph.
So I was very. Listen, Gump was a very visually attractive film.
How about this? You want an answer?
Soaring theme song and all that stuff.
I answer your question right now.
Hanks.
Yeah, well, there you go.
We took a tour through American history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a couple of half-cocked ideas, but I'm not totally sure.
Here, let me answer the question.
Plot turns.
Murphy's asking the question. What did it mean? I tell you what it meant. It meant jackass.
Okay,
jackass. There's no meaning to any of it.
You know, you can
You're
even
like
drop
witnessing
the
all these.
I've always preferred. I like a good. It meant Jack.
Yeah, just Jack. Meant Jack.
Remember the old bumper sticker? You don't know. I know. You don't know Jack.
I'm Jack on speed dial.
So it meant Jack.
That's what I think. It meant Jack. Yeah,
well, that's one answer.
Whatever they were selling, I wasn't buying.
Oh, you're anti-Gump.
Big time. 100%. He's eating chocolates. He's at the bus stop. Come on.
Where are you, Waterboy? With
it's one of the greatest pieces of American cinema.
That's an unfortunate.
There we go.
Life is like a box of chocolate, Paulie, man.
It's an unfortunate take.
It's okay, though.
So my only guess was like, it was a comment on modern American history through the eyes of an innocent. Like he saw America and all its flaws, Vietnam, AIDS.
What about Captain Dan?
All that stuff.
Yep, he's out there.
Lieutenant
Dan. My bad. He shows you what I
got no legs. Is the way he says Lieutenant. That's the key.
Yeah.
But if somebody has a better explanation of what Gump was all about, let me know.
Right.
Because I'm not sure why he took off running. Not sure.
Well, nobody knows. You're looking for answers where there isn't going to be one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jokic, though, he just wants to go home like Gump.
Yes.
And he goes on NBA TV and he's like, no, this is real. I have a horse race on Sunday.
Yeah. Next week or two look like for you now? You got a parade coming up here on Thursday.
Yes.
How soon till you're back in Southport?
I need to. On Sundays, I have my horse racing in my
horse racing. I was going to get to that. The horse racing.
Get to that.
Maybe. I don't know how we're going to arrive. It's Thursday parade. Friday maybe.
Would you make it?
I don't know.
Maybe you can have enough time to squeeze it in.
I'm gonna ask Josh to give me a plane.
Oh, I think he'll definitely let you get the team plane.
I think you deserve that.
You deserve a little bit more than that.
I did it on TV.
I'm going to finish by.
I put him under the pressure.
Put him under pressure.
Yes, I did. I don't feel bad at all.
That's so good. I put him under the pressure. That's a great line.
I put him under the pressure.
Okay, so what time is it in Belgrade right now?
Great question.
5:16. So
PM?
They're 9 hours ahead of us?
Yeah, something like that.
It's 5:16. So here's the deal. I just looked it up. How long is it to fly from Denver to Serbia?
Ooh.
So total flight Denver from Denver to Belgrade is 11 hours, 54 minutes. It's 9 hours ahead. So you lose, so it's 20. It's a full day. So if he's wheels up Friday, he goes parade Thursday, wheels up Friday.
He'll make it.
He can land Saturday. He'll land in Serbia Saturday.
He might be a little groggy for the races.
The race will be a little fuzzy.
Yes.
But he'll be there. So I'm going to go ahead and say
might have
yes.
a hangover.
Okay, yes.
A lot of times after those parades, too, those guys walk away with a little bit of a buzz on, so he might be out there having the bag.
One of the listeners said the when is parade soundbite, if you listen to the heavy sigh.
I put him under the pressure.
This guy from the 415 says, I'm losing my mind laughing.
No, it is. It's great stuff.
You can hear how annoyed he is.
A heavy sigh of a joker, which is likable as compared to an Aaron Rodgers sigh.
When is parade? When is parade?
Thursday.
No. I need to go home. Okay.
Heavy sigh from the Joker.
5 says, what do you give me for Murph not understanding Forrest Gump and Elaine hating the English patient?
Yeah,
that's another one I didn't like either.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one either. I'm with it there.
Yeah.
408 says, Murph, come on, man. A tour of recent American history. That's it. Okay, well, that's what I offered.
Okay.
That's my only.
Right.
But I still don't understand why it was running.
No.
707 says the running scene is Forrest processing his emotions and feelings about everything he's gone through in his life, especially his feelings for Jenny. Well, all right, but that doesn't really.
Shout out Jenny. Yeah.
Paulie, now the Gump crowd's coming for you.
I see him. No, they're coming after me hard. They want a piece of my ass now. I spoke out against Gump.
707 says he was running from bullies. Okay.
Well, listen.
Shannon's checked in. Quote, I don't know if it's destiny or we're all floating on a breeze. Maybe it's both.
Shannon, we didn't ask for you to
line when he's at
contribute.
Jenny's grave.
We
That's
didn't-
what the movie's all about.
Shannon, save your takes for the
yes.
podcast.
I see what you wrote. What you wrote, Tripoli, is cut off halfway because you wrote so long.
Yeah, there's like
it says something about larger political and social
You wrote like
issues
an
and
essay.
decides to live life on his own terms.
Like it's postmodern
Mike
man.
Malone, congratulations to you. Are a champion. What do you got?
Yeah.
It hasn't hit me, and I don't think it's going to hit me tonight because I'm going to drink too much. These moments are surreal. I mean, like, I got in the league 22, 23 years ago, and I dreamed of becoming a head coach, not knowing if I'd ever be given that opportunity. It doesn't come easy. My father was a head coach once, and he's the best coach I know. So to get to this point, to win a championship is just, as you reflect upon all the people who helped you get here. I mean, my high school coach, Bobby Farrell, Seton Hall Prep. My prep school coach, Tom Blackburn, who passed away last year. The coaches I worked for in college, Pete Gillen. I mean, like, everybody like Greg Campy that gave me an opportunity to grow and improve to get to this. This is like a many, many year-long process, and you don't do it by yourself.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paulie, I want you to name all the people who got you here today, my friend.
I don't have enough time, but I did top of my head. I'll give you a couple. Say, you talking about radio or life? What are we talking about
Everything.
here? Well, I was going to say Tony Salvador would be number one if we're talking about Murph and Mac and radio. Rick Ganji, number two, former creative director, genius, radio industry genius, still working in New York, kicking ass back there. I'll give you those are my top two to get us in the same room together. Those
I'm
two
go ahead and
guys.
say Bob Agnew and Waterboy are the two guys
Fair
who got
enough.
me here.
I'll
all right?
buy into that. I'm a Waterboy acolyte as well.
It's all Tony Salvador. It's one man and one man only.
Let me
It's
tell you what's
T-Sal.
gonna happen. Let me
It's
tell you.
Tony frickin' Salvador. That's it. All right. And so thank you, boss man. Hey, Malone.
Okay.
He says he's not satisfied. Actually, we should mention Hammer too, shouldn't we? Anyway,
Lee Hammer.
But let's be honest, it's Salvador.
Hammer was good.
Malone. One more. Hey, check it out.
But I got news for everybody out there. We're not satisfied with one. We want more.
Here we go. Hey, that's what Pat Riley. Listen, we've been seeing this for a long time, man. Pat Riley guaranteed the Lakers would go back to back, and they actually delivered. They made good on that.
So here's what Malone said. He said he had a quote from Riley. He says, "You go from a nobody to an upstart.
See,
you go from an upstart to a winner. You go from a winner to a contender. You go from a contender to a champ, and you go from a champ to a dynasty." That almost sounded like a Forrest Gump type thing.
It's like a progression, a chain of events.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what they're shooting for. And guys, as Warrior fans, how do you feel about that?
That's a great
Are they
question.
in your way?
Totally in the way. For the first, and I said this earlier, I really believe this. Like, it's the first time in the Kerr, Clay, Draymond, Steph Curry era where the Warriors have a legit formidable opponent in the West. They've had some good teams in the past, but not an NBA title-winning team in their own conference like this. That it's a great question, and it's a legitimate thing. Like, it's an obstacle
So
now.
I feel like the Nuggets, I mean, this is the test now for the Nuggets is you now are a champ. You have the sheen of a
And
champion.
what do you
You're
do
in
with
the-
it? Yeah,
what
it's
do you
tough.
do with it?
You've played
There's
deep.
no guarantee.
No. There never is. Guys
The
get
Bucks
hurt.
didn't get
There's all-
back.
and plus,
Bucks aren't there.
Teams, unlike the Warriors, not used to going this deep into June. Like, it's a thing. Like, it does take a toll. There's a lot of games these guys have played. And we'll see. That's another great angle. Is like, what are they going to do with this title next year? How can they defend it?
Actually, Waterboy being the Waterboy, that's why I mentioned Waterboy getting me here. He found the Malone quote on Riley. Here.
Thank God.
Pat Riley said something many years ago. I used to have it up on my board when I was a head coach in Sacramento, and I talked about the evolution in this game and how you go from a nobody to an upstart, and you go from an upstart to a winner, and a winner to a contender, and a contender to a champion. And the last step is after you're a champion is to be a dynasty. So we're not satisfied. We accomplished something this franchise has never done before, but we have a lot of young, talented players in that locker room. And I think we just showed through 16 playoff wins what we're capable of on the biggest stage in the world.
Well, there it is. He's laying it out. He's putting it there. By the way, interesting tweet from Andrew Bogut. Did you guys see that?
No.
Bogut
Give me
checked
some
in from
Bogut.
Australia.
Yeah.
He wrote, fun fact, Mike Malone was pretty much the associate head coach during my first few years at the Warriors. He ran our D and drew up everything off the board in timeouts.
I'm glad he sent that
Much
out. That's
deserved.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. He says, and also, but a couple things on Jokic. One, at age 28, NBA champ, finals MVP, 5-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. That resume is getting thick.
Yeah.
And want another stat for you? If you add up his points, rebounds, and assists, he averaged 52.9. and there's only one player in NBA history who ever had a higher number in a playoff run. It was Wilt Chamberlain in 1967.
Yeah, that's it. Well, talk about being in great company. How about that?
Baby. That's a tall cotton or high altitude or thin air, whatever the hell.
Yeah, he dominated the record books the entire playoff run. What do he have? 10 triple-doubles, setting a new NBA
and
record.
guys are still talking smack about him out there. There are guys out there. To be totally honest, I don't think he's getting the love he probably should and deserves.
Hey, one last one. Let's jump down to a Spoelstra. We got 2 cuts from Spoelstra. I want to play one of them.
Tough night for Miami.
Which one's better, Waterboy? The underdog one or the message to the team? I don't know, whichever one's better.
The underdog story.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Queuing it up.
Cut L as in leisure.
We would have liked.
Yes,
we would have liked to have been able to climb the mountaintop to be able to get that final win. But I think this is a team that a lot of people can relate to. If you've ever felt that you were dismissed or felt that you were made to feel less than, we had a lot of people in our locker room that probably have had that, and there's probably a lot of people out there, that have felt that at some time or another. But also the way this team handled setbacks and adversity, to develop a collective grit and perseverance. I mentioned this before, that hopefully these are lessons that'll transcend this beautiful game.
All right, listen, Spo.
He was going big picture right there.
There was this one little moment there when Butler... Let's see what happened. There was a bucket really late. No, I forget what happened. It was Denver scored to go up 3, and it looked like it was going to be over. And Spo called a timeout, and he just walked out.
I saw it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just to look at, but he was just a total pro. He was like, "I'm going to go draw up a play to win this game."
He does that. I called that out earlier in the postseason. I love that about him. Every time he calls a timeout, he just marches right out onto the floor. And I was thinking the same thing. But what an impressive run they had, man, for an 8 seed. And like Marcus said accurately, I agree with you. They're not your typical 8 seed. This is a team with finals experience. They've been on the big stage before, but still undermanned without some of their best players to go that far and to actually take a game in Denver, the only team to do that. They got a lot to be proud of. They really do, the Miami Heat.
530 says that Bogut tweet felt like a shot at Mark Jackson. Indeed, 530. That's what it was. All right. Well, listen, congratulations to Jokic and the Nuggets. Now the challenge is, and we're not going to get the answer for a year, but are they a dynasty? Are they now in the Warriors' way?
You can't say dynasty yet. That's just one.
Are they going to, can they get back to this stage? Now,
that's the big question.
You get to enjoy it for a while, and then there's the Buster Posey rule of let's come back and do it again.
Well, now they're going to have to go through an angry chip on their shoulder Golden State Warrior group. So the Warriors are going to be slightly ticked off next year.
And who's going to be on the Warriors team? And who's the Warriors GM?
See all these storylines.
Yeah. All right. Fun big hit indeed. All right. Cooler content next on the Sports Leader.
Minute parade.
You're listening to Murph and Max Power Hour. Now on 104.5 FM and 680. This is KNBR, the sports leader. Here's what's trending now. On KNBR.com.
The Giants battled back for another comeback win last night in St. Louis to kick off their road trip. So to read all about the top highlights from the Giants' comeback win, check out that story and more trending now on the all-new KNBR app.
And now, time for the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. This has been the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. Concerned inflation will ruin your dream retirement? Learn more. Listen to David's show every Saturday morning on KNBR or call 1-866-PROTECT. Crank up Murph and Max Power Hour.
All right, everyone.
Chill.
This is the cooler.
You're not sending me to the cooler.
Of content.
Murph and Max Cooler of Content is sponsored by Mancini Sleep World. Sleep better, live better. Visit sleepworld.com. And by Marin Health. Marin Health Medical Center and Marin Health Medical Network world-class care. Closer than you think.
On KNBR, the sports leader.
All right, Cooler of Content style here.
Come on, baby.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's start with
What do you got
the
for
NBA
me?
Finals, buddy.
Okay.
Jokic, we can't get enough.
I'm going to have a little bit of I'm not going to lie either. I'm going to have a little bit of NBA withdrawal now. I enjoyed the postseason. Without the, I guess the one benefit when your team is dismissed, you don't have that, you don't have the stress, the anxiety, the strain, the gripping. So it's kind of fun to throw my feet up and just kind of watch other teams slug it out. Now it's all over. Now I got to wait. Maybe watch some summer league ball, Murph. We'll see.
Why don't you watch some College World Series?
College World Series,
watch kids
too.
losing balls in the twilight.
Oh, man.
And as it was Kype said it, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
By the way,
gosh.
great Kuiper hit today. If you guys missed it, go check the podcast out later. He was awesome.
Nikola Jokic tells what he thinks is a joke to reporters, and they don't laugh. Here it is.
To be honest, I don't think about the next year. I'm gonna ask the coach to give me a couple of weeks more off, so I can be ready for the season. That's supposed to be a joke, and you didn't laugh.
See what I mean?
Good job, guys.
Tough to you.
That's my boy. He's riffing out there. Let him go.
He meant to say, I want to take a couple weeks off at the start of the season, but it sounded like, I don't know.
It was poorly laid out, but I mean, it was the execution wasn't great, but I love where his heart's
I'm
at.
constantly blown away that people can do this in a second language. If you drop me in Serbia, I ain't getting riffs off.
Bro, hand gesture.
These guys are geniuses,
yes,
man.
I
They're
agree
higher
with you.
forms
It's a
of
great
life,
call.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a joke, and you didn't laugh.
I mean, even has a little lilt to the voice and everything.
It's the inflection. It's all of it.
Now, Paulie,
yes.
We've talked about this, the generation that doesn't answer texts.
Well, which generation is this exactly? Is this our kids'
Waterboy,
generation?
you want to chime in here, buddy?
Yeah,
Because
I'm the bad guy.
Are you?
I'm the guy that doesn't get back to text.
Okay.
I'm a terrible
I think
texter.
it's people younger than you,
As
though.
the great Taylor Swift would say, I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah,
See what happens?
It's me.
Yeah.
It's guys like me and Jimmy Garoppolo who don't respond to text
What's
messages.
behind all that?
Paulie, your own kids, are they spotty on their text response?
They've gotten better because I said, cut the S. If
Cut
I'm
the crap.
texting, I need you.
Yeah.
You guys want to go to school next year, you better
you
respond.
want my money, but you won't respond to a text.
Totally.
Yeah.
They respond when they need a check.
The biggest problem for me is, Paulie, is a lot of times I'll see the text come in and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll respond to that later. And then I just never respond.
If you
I
notice,
just forget
Paulie,
about
when
it.
we send out humorous content on
Marcus
weekends,
never participates.
just crickets.
Ever. Very rarely will Marcus perk up, just kind of surface.
Every 10th text might give you an exclamation point emoji.
I got to be totally honest, going to admit something on the air right now, like a confession. I'm kind of glad because I used to be known as that guy. Like the guy that Murph would know, on a group, and even still today,
You're way more responsive than you used to be.
I have picked up my game. I've picked up my game, and Marcus now has moved into that primary slot of I'm not answering anybody ever.
This is all by way of bringing it up because Jokic looked at his text and he was annoyed at how many he had.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm gonna see if he's testing me. No. I don't know. I mean, mom.
Oh.
How many texts you have?
A lot. I'm gonna turn off the phone.
So you ever been friends with somebody who you has achieved some sort of fame and you'll be one of 600 texts and you're like, should I even send it? You know what I mean? So
Gets lost in the shuffle.
For example, with Bob Myers, I waited a day. I was like, he's probably going to get so many.
Let it
so
die
I
down.
waited a day.
Yeah.
And he responded with a riff, as he always does. Mm-hmm. By the way, he's got 17. You have 17 more days? That's the way it is.
Probably on the phone with Joe right now.
Yeah. It's
Wake
June
up, Bob.
13th. It's not June 30th.
Rise and shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed this one, but I heard you talk about this on the way into work, that Jokic threw Murray into a pool?
Yeah.
And then they cannonballed?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. You actually hear the cannonball
big time
called. Who did the cannonball? Wasn't Jokic, was it? Some rando did a cannonball. All right. Well, they got to have a pool at the facility, right, for some laps, right? Is every good fitness spot has a pool?
You got your aquatic training.
That's Paulie Mack doing laps out
You
there.
like some laps? It's good for you.
I think it was their recovery pool, and you're absolutely right. You can hear Jokic in the background, cannonball!
So he even say... And that's Jokic yelling that?
Yeah.
Is it really? Wow.
Once again, not in his native tongue, even knowing the slang.
Yeah.
Right? Who here is the best cannonballer?
Probably Triple
I'm
E.
gonna go ahead and say Triple E.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Just immediately got
Triple
that
E.
impression.
Were you good at the cannonball?
Yeah,
back
I'm
in the
okay
day?
at it, but he would sell out.
I don't
he
know.
would
He looks
jump
more,
off a roof.
He looks more like a belly flop kind of guy
I
to
think
me.
Waterboy's probably the cannonball king.
Well, he's athletic.
Maybe.
Yeah, he put some muscle into it.
You got to get enough air to get the knees pulled up.
You gotta
know what
get
I mean?
air.
So,
Yeah.
Or you do like the one leg like jackhammer or whatever the hell they call it, the can opener. That's what it is,
Man,
Murph.
I tell you what, we went to Crater Lake years ago. What a trip,
opener.
by the way. Crater Lake's unbelievable. It is the coldest lake in like North America, although they say Superior's colder. I call BS. There's nothing colder than Crater Lake. I almost died going into that thing. Slight exaggeration, but it's so cold it like shocks your system.
Yeah, it would totally shocks you.
But there were kids jumping off like a 40-foot high rock into Crater Lake.
Yeah.
And I was like, to go from that height to that cold water, damn.
People do stuff like that. They jump off cliffs. I've never been big on that. They do that in Jersey, too, into the Hudson. I'm not kidding. Like, I think, what is it called? The Ingleside Cliffs or whatever. People jump off the cliffs into the hut, which is dirty, by the way, on top of everything else. Hudson River dirty.
You and I, speaking of Wide World of Sports, Acapulco cliff diving.
Oh, my God. Well, you got to go
Waterboy?
out far enough so you don't get banged up on the mountain.
I don't know.
Not only are you dropping
people
hundreds
say
of
to me,
feet.
They say, hey, you're a real, you're a scaredy cat. You're a wimp. I say,
you're damn right.
I say, I have an intense sense of self-preservation.
They
That's what
didn't
I
put
have
you on
to-
the planet to jump off mountains. I'm telling you that. You
don't-
take your chances.
I don't have the skill set to do it.
No.
That's not one of my skill sets, is to run off a precarious
I'm not
cliff
jumping
and
off
jump
anything.
into it.
Not jumping off anything.
I went cliff diving a couple years ago when I went down to Mexico. It was only like 20, 25 feet high, but it was
That's
still,
still
a
pretty
cliff.
high.
It was still a
See,
cliff.
there's this thing called fear, and you have none of it. And
Well,
Polly and I are laden with fear.
Yeah,
all
laden.
right? So-
Laden. I'm fear
But look where
first.
we got. Look
Yeah.
where we got. Showtime NBA Finals had a live stream, and Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were on it.
I heard about
Well,
this.
here's the thing. I don't think Paul Pierce knew he was on it.
Set this up for us,
Paul
Marcus.
brings his
Yeah.
girlfriend for the day from a website.
Yeah.
From a website.
So that's like a rental, and
Oh,
then
see.
he introduces her to KG on the live stream.
Oh, for great goodness
But he
sakes.
doesn't know that it's a rental.
Oh, dude.
And he doesn't know it's a live stream either. Check it out.
All right.
Hey, how you doing? Camille, nice to meet you. Formula One everywhere, ain't it? Formula One everywhere.
This is my girlfriend for the day. They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
Stop, man.
And so I got a girlfriend for the day.
Stop, man. Stop.
You can hire girlfriends for the
Stop,
day.
man.
I went on the website and I hired a
Look right here.
girlfriend for the day.
Look, Collins. There go Collins. There go. Look at D Wade at the game. Okay, D Wade.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's all out there. Girlfriends for a day. You know, they got a
Hey,
website
listen,
now.
I mean, it's all legal. He's just looking for a little
saying
company.
a guy's looking for
You know what I mean?
little companionship.
He's just doing his thing.
Just a little companionship
Doing his
on a,
thing.
on a
You know,
Tuesday.
Is there any? Is there any?
That's tough.
Is there anything wrong? Is a crime being committed?
I don't know. Ask Eugene Robinson.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm the bad guy now.
All right. Well, there it is. There's your cooler of content.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. Hey, we're going to dive into the Bill Walton documentary with the director, Steve James.
Nice.
Mark Spears, the former Denver Nugget beat writer, to put it all in perspective. But on the other side, a review of some of the key storylines of that Giants win. And how about the resurrection of Brandon Crawford on KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
And oh, mama.
Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Murph and Matt continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chris Stratton delivers. Crawford swings. Ground ball left side and through. Bailey to third. He's being waved home. Walker up with it. The throw is going to be well too late. Bailey in with a slide. Crawford an RBI single, and the Giants take a 4-3 lead.
There it is, man. Hey, by the way, Joe Rizzo and FP, kind of the voices of the Giants now, right?
They're doing a lot of work together, yeah.
I tell you what, I'm starting to like a Rizzo rally call. He's got a little growl when something comes through, you know? And I'm going, hey, do you, Joe? You do.
You know what? We should get Joe on the show. We should wrap with him soon.
We've had him on before.
Yeah.
But we'll have him on again. But he'll do that like when it was Crawford and the Giants tie the game. He's like, all right.
Well, like you said, you're hearing it more and more, and it starts to grow on you. And FP sounds good too, and it's going to sound even better. You can give me another win today because that's what I'm looking for. I want to keep going.
Saying if you hear something more and more, it grows on you. How does that explain the Murph and Max show?
Listen, it's it's a process now. You got to trust the process.
All right. Hey, Matt Cain joins Papa and Lund today at 10:30 this morning. All right. Cainer.
Matty Cain.
Cainer.
Give him the love he deserves.
You asked earlier where he is on the list of all-time big game
I think you got to really consider his postseason resume. There are guys like he was almost damn near unhittable in the postseason when he would take the hill.
2010 was insane.
He was mowing full. I remember that one day start he had against Philly. I forget which game it was.
Yeah, it was game 3. That was the game I took KC to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took KC.
Nice, dude. That was when we lit the fuse right there. When Murph met KC and took him to the game. That was the first time those guys got together. You want to talk particles? The universe was moving, dude, in our direction that postseason.
And I'll tell you, he and I, a couple of things happened. He and I were the only ones standing up during the 5th and 6th innings when Cain was closing out innings. We thought it was like, come on, man. And then also there were some Philly fans behind us who kind of tried to get into it with us, and KC kind of shut him down early.
KC wasn't having that.
Yeah. So, listen, I want to put the stamp on this thing. This was a nice win. And Giants, some texter was all over me for even mentioning the wild card standings. Yeah, I'm mentioning the wild card standings. Do you know what tomorrow is? Do you know what tomorrow is?
I do. I know what it is. I'll say it if you don't want me to, if you want a suspense to build. But I know the answer.
I want you to say it.
I'm extremely confident, and there's a Grateful Dead connection. 6/14, Murph, is Flag Day.
Can I get some applause, please?
Yeah, I'll applaud that. That was my first RFK show, 6/14/91, Flag Day.
The Nick Bosa Baker Mayfield flag stuff.
No, it's all about flag. Yeah, the Bosa flag wave, it's Flag Day.
You can see him on a rectangle. By the way, we are, if you don't know, you can see us now.
We're streaming our A's off.
It's on YouTube. You can type in KNBR live stream.
We'll check it out.
You go to the KNBR app. We're right there on Twitch.
You want to see Marcus's Stanford hat, you get over to the stream. You dig it. It's live right now.
Marcus not losing balls in the twilight, though. Like the Texas
Marcus
outfielder.
is making plays.
See, what you're doing right there, though, is even more than the Texas outfielder did.
He did.
What was curious to me was
he just thumped it with his arms at his side.
Yes, exactly.
On his side.
You didn't even, at that point, maybe just run somewhere and hopefully, and just put your glove out.
Murph, do something vaguely athletic. Yes.
And they were kind of looking at each other,
Just arms limp. Yeah, I was like, oh, boy.
Wonder where they call that the I got it, you take it. Or you got it, I take it, or whatever.
You got it, I got it. You got it, I got it. Me, you,
we discussed yesterday at All-Star practice what the appropriate verbiage is on a pop-up between two hitters. What do you go with? Because the old-fashioned I got it is now frowned upon.
Yeah, but it depends on who has priority.
Now, why is that frowned upon? What verbiage are you using?
Ball.
There it is.
Catch me up on the dialogue.
They feel like I got it is too wordy.
I was going to say, I thought it was like too selfish, too possessive. Yeah, what you got it? Oh, I didn't know you got it.
Well,
Shouldn't it be more inclusive? We got it.
Which then undermines
But then you don't know who's getting.
that cool Mexican sort of pop alt band, Yo La Tengo.
Anytime Murph's talking alt rock, I'm on board.
Well, Yo La Tengo, you guys know that band? Are they
do.
out of Southern
I do.
California, maybe? Or are they out of
I remember.
Mexican-American?
Yeah. Little K-Fog.
And they're named, that's Spanish for I got it. That's from baseball.
Again, I prefer we got it.
So when
That way
you're
no one's left out.
if you're in a game in Latin America and you're yelling yo la tengo, that's too wordy.
Yeah.
Just yell pelota. There you go. That was whatever. I don't know what that was. Anyway, let's get into this game. And the Giants were down 3-2.
All right.
Mitch Haniger tied it up with a big knock. Oppo knock, and then Pat Bailey, 11 pitch at bat.
Bailey
doubles into the gap off of former Giants first rounder Chris Stratton. How about that first round crime?
Wow.
How about that?
Stratton,
That was
yeah.
a pretty interesting little footnote there. And Bailey gets to second. I was watching, I'm like, look at this guy.
Bailey's looking confident out there. He does. He got a little bit of a confidence to him now.
Guys, and to be honest, right now, he's kind of passing Casey. We fell head over heels in love with Casey Schmidt in the
Well,
first
he's kind
2
of cooled
weeks.
off, yeah.
And now Bailey's like,
It's his time. He's having
I'm
a
just
run.
the steadier guy coming up on
Got his
you
little
here.
mustache.
I'm still with Schmidt, but Schmidt was like a wild fling that you had for a weekend, and then you woke up on Monday and you're like, well, now we got to work this out.
I got to
know
tell you
what I
right
mean?
now, too, shout
Whereas
out.
Bailey's like the steady partner that's just there for you day in, day out.
Murph's got a hell of a great thought, though. Shout out to the weekend-long wild fling.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that now.
I mean, weekend long.
Sometimes you don't even, well,
you know what I mean?
I don't want to go too far, but I can,
even
yeah.
room service outside
That's
the
what I was
door.
going to say. So you don't even leave in the room. It's going well. Yeah.
What would Forrest Gump say about that? I don't know. By the way,
Something about Jenny.
By the way, Shannon Kaler had the best explanation. We'll get to the Giants here in just a second here. Kaler explained it all to me.
Don't encourage him.
Said the entire
Don't
movie
encourage him.
climaxes when Gump is at Jenny's grave, and he says, quote, I don't know if it's destiny or we're all floating on a breeze. Maybe it's both.
You know what? I dislike
Kaler
that
says
text.
that's what the movie's about.
No good.
Waterboy liked that.
Silvio's,
Yeah.
I reject it with Silvio.
No good.
That's why they got that feather floating around the whole
There it
movie.
is.
Ah,
There
come
it is.
on.
Yes, there it is.
Come on.
Yes. And here, I want to go on record as saying I enjoyed Forrest Gump as a film, unlike Paul.
Yeah.
I saw the text line
I
coming
taken
at
a
me.
lot of abuse for that, too.
I
But
enjoyed
I'm
the
brave
film.
enough to say it.
I enjoyed the film because it was very visually appealing and had a cool soundtrack. And
Good soundtrack.
There was a lot of American history
Yeah.
involved. But if I walked out of the theater on that summer day in '94 and they say, hey, what was that movie about? I'd be like, I don't know.
No clue.
I really don't know.
Well, they don't want you to know. That's the idea.
I'm not sure. I was like, there was a lot going on. At one point, there was Vietnam, there was AIDS, there was Alabama football, there was ping pong with Nixon. I don't know
I'll
what's
tell
going
you what
on.
it was. It was a collective subversive effort to confuse the masses. That's my grand statement.
So anyway, back to the win here. Here you go. Yeah, and then Brandon Crawford finds a hole. How about Brandon Crawford's week, guys? Thursday game-tying hit in Colorado, Sunday relief appearance, Monday night game-winning hit. And Kype said, I said, is he reclaiming the shortstop job? And Kype said, no, he's playing better because he's not playing every day. Interesting take. I liked it. And so let's put the stamp on it. Kai, he got to over 200 now. He's hitting 202. Kai Correa calls Rob Manfred. Manfred said, you're 2 games over now, huh? He said, that's right, suit. Put it in the book. San Francisco Giants 4, St. Louis Cardinals 3.
Oh, it's all good, baby. It's all good.
Beautiful baseball. Beautiful baseball.
The Giants. Fun.
This is some kind of good.
This is unbelievable.
Runs are cool, man.
There it is, the spatula of Gabe at the end. Okay, so the Giants today, Alex Cobb against Jack Flaherty, against that the Cardinals team that's kind of down and out. And how about the moment of truth where Camilo Doval retires Paul Goldschmidt on a comebacker? Did you see the casual manner with which he threw the ball to first base?
Yep, he is like that. He's pretty cool out there.
He's a chill customer,
Pretty
man.
cool.
He really is.
Yeah.
4-out save. Okay, that's at 4:45. We'll get into that a little bit later, but right now we're going to talk about the Walton documentary with the director.
Nice.
Steve James. This is going to be fun. And then Mark Spears.
Okay.
All coming up on KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
The Giants.
Fun.
From the Chilton Auto Body Traffic Desk.
everybody. Thanks for listening to Murph and Mac today. Our good friend Steve Moskowitz joins us now. We'd like to talk to Steve in the morning, get some helpful tips on our taxes, and get us into a better financial reality. Steve, good morning. On a Tuesday morning in San Francisco, I think we should talk a little bit more about the ERC today. I know that we could go so deep on that, right?
We sure can, boy. And I want to talk about a different aspect of it today we haven't spoken about before.
Okay.
Suppose one of your listeners is sitting back and enjoying your show as usual and say, well, Steve, I already got my ERC. We've seen a bunch of cases where people didn't get nearly as much as they were legally entitled to.
Okay.
So if you got your ERC, we can take a look at it to see, did you get all you're entitled to? And it's amazing how many people have come to us and they were either entitled to a lot more than they got, or there's different periods for ERC. And some periods said, some preparers said, well, you're entitled to this period and not that. Bottom line is, even if you already got your ERC, let's make sure that you got the full amount to which you're legally entitled.
I love that. Great reason to pick up the phone and have a conversation with Steve. Don't leave anything on the table when it comes to ERC and what you're entitled to. Call Steve and have the conversation at 1-888-TAX-DEAL and visit Steve online at MoskowitzLLP.com.
Anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Murph and Mac continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
One day in practice, I noticed Coach Wooden coming out of the locker room. And he goes right over to Greg Lee and starts having a conversation.
The most respected coach in America pulls you aside, and he said that it's come to my attention that you're highly dependent upon marijuana. And I said, Coach, I sometimes smoke marijuana, but I never do it before a game or before practice or anything like that.
The conversation ended. Coach Wooden pivots and just makes a beeline straight to me. Bill, it's come to my attention that you've been smoking marijuana. And I'm trying to think what to say to that question. Cleared my throat and got as serious as I possibly could. And I said, Coach, I have no idea what you're talking about.
There it is, the luckiest guy in the world, our friend Bill Walton, who is the subject of an extremely entertaining and well-made documentary. If you've seen parts 1 and 2, that will have episode 3 tonight on ESPN. And we have the director, Steve James Pauly. Steve James, not just this, the guy made one of the greatest sports movies of all time, Hoop Dreams, back in the 90s.
It's a classic
now
masterpiece.
He has turned his attention to our favorite, the iconic Bill Walton. Steve, it's a real pleasure to have you on the Murph and Mac Show. Brian Murphy, Paul McCaffrey. Couple things you need to know here. Number one, very Walton-friendly show. He's been on our show a number of times.
Yeah, we love Bill.
2, I'm a UCLA Bruin, so I worship the guy. 3, Paulie Mack here is a grade A plus deadhead.
I was just hanging with Bill Walton at the Skull and Roses Festival about a month ago in Ventura. I was hanging out with Bill, and we were watching Phil Lesh play. So Bill and I go way back. Murph's a UCLA guy, but we've got that Grateful Dead kinship on display here on the Murph and Mack show.
Wow. Well, I'll try not to trash Bill on this interview then.
Okay, man. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the question you have to ask is like, how... my question starts with editing. How do you edit a Bill Walton documentary? I mean, this man has no edit button. How do you edit this thing? That must be the hardest thing, huh?
Well, yeah, it helps to hire a good editor, number one. David Simpson, who's worked with me a lot, did a terrific job with it. I think the thing with Bill is, the first order business was how do you interview him? Because, as you know, he can go on and on and on. And so one of the strategies we came up with was to interview him multiple times and focus on certain aspects of his life. So I would tell him, like, Bill, we're talking about the UCLA years on this interview. So that it was a way of focusing him, too, because, Bill he's a stream of consciousness guy, so he can kind of go. And I think that really helped the process. And then it also helped in the editing because then we could zero in on certain aspects of the stories we were editing.
I'm amazed, though, Steve, that he, even when you gave him the focus, like, Bill, we're going to talk about the Trailblazers years, that he didn't take it in another direction.
Well,
well, he did sometimes, but I was able to rein him back in. And I have to give him credit. He was really focused on this. Once he really understood what our process was and how we were going about it, then he got it. He's a smart guy. So,
yeah.
And he really worked with us to try and give us what we needed.
So, Steve, I got to say, as we were just talking about, I am a longtime Grateful Dead fan, and it's really kind of thrilling to watch the film and see how you punctuate different moments and different ideas with different Grateful Dead songs. And that part of it is done really well. Compliments, honestly, because Deadheads are very picky, and we always listen out for everything. But you guys, it's been done very well on these 30 for 30s. My question is, who was involved in selecting the songs and then kind of placing them in the right segments? Because it's all done very nicely.
My editor, David Simpson, will be happy to hear that. David is the Deadhead among us.
Okay.
Now, I like the Dead. My wife is a Deadhead fan. But I am not a Deadhead by any stretch of the imagination.
Gotcha.
And David is, and I think he did a terrific job. And we took Bill's ideas too. Bill at one point gave us a list of some of his favorite Dead songs, which was quite extensive.
Yeah.
But
Talking to Steve James, the director of the ESPN documentary, The 30 for 30, The Luckiest Guy in the World. Tell us about the decision to make it 4 parts, Steve. What went into that?
This is interesting. Initially, when Bill was approached, it was going to be focused on the Trailblazers championship season, which he loved. He loved that idea, and that was part of what got him to agree to even do it. It was kind of a bait and switch move. And then as I read his memoir and just dug deeper into his story, I went to ESPN and I said, this doesn't just want to be the story of the Trailblazer championship season. It doesn't even want to be the story of the Trailblazer years, as amazing as that is. And I was able to convince them that we were going to make a docuseries, and so that's how we ended up with 4 parts. Of course, Bill, when I gave Bill the great news that we now are doing a docuseries and it was going to be 4 parts, he said, "Why not 5? How about 6?"
There you go. That's it.
Steve, do you do like everyone? Do you have a Walton impression now in your bag?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think every single person we interviewed could do Bill Walton. He's probably the easiest guy to imitate in the entire world for some reason, because everybody who played with him or against him can do Bill Walton.
We're talking to Steve James, the director of the 30 for 30, The Luckiest Guy in the World. Everybody watch episode 3 tonight, and you are listening to KNBR and KNBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station. As a guy who's been around basketball all your life, you did hoop dreams and all that. And what was the part of the discovery process that you enjoyed the most? Was it the UCLA years? Was it the Portland years? Was it the biking, the Deadhead? What part sort of gave you the most thrill?
Well, the whole thing was quite a ride. I think the thing that was in a sense the most astounding was seeing him as a high school player. I had seen him at UCLA. I'm old enough. I'm only a few years younger than Bill, so I remember followed his career when he was in UCLA and into the pros. But seeing him in high school and seeing really the entire skill set of what he could do, the team-oriented play, the sort of basketball mind, the outlet passing, all of that was present in Bill in high school. So nobody really taught him that. He learned that before he ever got to UCLA. So that was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I think maybe one thing for the kids who are like, 35 and under, 40 and under, whatever, who never saw him play, need to understand that this crazy, limping, bad back hippie was an incredible... I think, Steve, when I watch Jokic out there, there was Walton... had more skill. Walton could run better than Jokic and had better ball handling skills, but similar style otherwise, right?
Yeah. I think when you look at Jokic, Jokic has way more of an offensive arsenal than Bill did. He can shoot the three. Bill came up at a time when you didn't shoot the three, right. But Bill was considerably more agile. Bill was a terrific athlete. He just had horrible feet. The man could jump. He could run. He was agile, and he was highly skilled. And yes, he knew the game as well as anyone in the game has known it. And he wasn't, and like Jokic, Jokic can score almost at will, but for Jokic, scoring is not the primary option for him. It's team play, and that was Bill's whole orientation.
Yeah, we're talking to Steve James here. A couple more minutes here with the director of the 30 for 30, The Luckiest Guy in the World. Part 3 airs tonight on ESPN. Be sure and catch it. It's really entertaining and really well made. As a UCLA Wooden guy, and as he's one of the most iconic figures in the history of American sports, how much did that affect you? The way Walton still talks about the late, great John Wooden, and you had footage of him visiting Wooden in his little Encino condominium there.
Really cool stuff.
What affected you about that research?
Yeah, well, I think what was kind of amazing, to me about that relationship, and Bill, Bill talks about this, is that, Wooden had a profound influence on Bill in a hugely positive way. He still quotes the Pyramid of Success, so he had a profound positive impact on him as a person and as a basketball player, but they did clash. And, that clip you played at the top of this story, starts to get at something that we spin out in the film that most people, I think, are unaware of, which was, because Greg Lee agreed or copped to the fact that he had smoked marijuana, he got benched. And he didn't really start again until after UCLA had lost 3 games that season. Man. The team did kind of go through a real traumatic period. So, Bill's lifestyle, Bill's politics clashed with Wooden's, and I think that's part of what's so fascinating about that relationship is that there was profound love, but there was also a real difference of opinion. And even though Bill feels badly about how that went with Wooden, he still stands by his beliefs from that time. It's not like he looks back and goes, "Oh, I was wrong." Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's a message there that you can have a disagreement with someone and still love them and be friends with them there. And Walton and Wooden to the day he died were that way too. Just wrapping up, I view Larry Bird as sort of an iconic figure, a deity. How was getting him? His chapter with the '86 Celtics is so interesting. You thought he was
man
done.
Of the year, yeah.
How was Bird to talk to, and what were his sort of? He was willing to talk about Bill Walton. Larry's not doing a lot of media.
Yeah, and, I've seen Larry interviewed on a lot of these, not a lot because he doesn't do a lot of them, but when he is interviewed on a number of these sports biopics, he's good and he's very articulate about the merits of that particular player. But the love, and the humor that he brought to his discussion of Bill was unexpected to me because I don't think of Larry Bird in that way. And, they just got along great. And that story that we have in there about when they played one-on-one the year after they won the championship in San Diego, is a really great story. And Bill tickled Bird, but then also Bird really came to appreciate just how great a player Bill Walton had been. And, it's Larry in the film that says that had he not been hurt all those years, he'd be in the conversation among the greatest. And I say, greatest big man? And he goes, no, greatest players.
How about
and,
that? Wow.
That's not a compliment Larry Bird throws around.
Not at all.
I guess last one for you, Steve, and that's really cool. Is Bill tinged with any regret about how injuries cut short what could have been one of the greatest careers in basketball history?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, but I think that part of what he has come to terms with, and it's why we called it the luckiest guy in the world, because Bill has not been the luckiest guy in the world by any stretch of the imagination in his basketball career and in his personal life with his back going out and thinking he might never walk again. I mean, he's been to the bottom, but he has chosen to focus on when he was healthy and what he was able to do. And when he was healthy, he was undeniably a winner. Yeah, I mean, it's, of course he wishes. It's why he had all those surgeries. He kept trying to get back on the court because he knew, this was his religion and he was great at it. And when he was healthy, he won. He didn't just win games, he won championships.
Well, these documentaries are so important. They really are. They're historical documents in our country and our culture. And
bravo. Very well done,
too. They're not made unless you make them.
Yeah.
So
great job, man.
We sure do appreciate it. And we give you a standing ovation on our corner. Thanks for coming on the show, Steve.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate being on and your love for the series.
Yeah,
you got it, Steve.
James,
thanks, man.
Doing it. It's true, man. You think, Paulie, it's like these documentaries that we all watch, we love so much. It's like, man.
Well, you said it. I think
out there kicking ass and making these things.
And to your point earlier, I think so guys like us, we know Bill Walton. There are people older than us that really got to see Walton play, like when he was at his best with Portland, when he was at his best with UCLA. But we're old enough. Like we saw him in '86. We saw him play with that great Celtic team. But kids like your kids, my kid, they just know Bill as like some crazy dude on the mic who's always wearing a tie-dye, talking about all kind of crazy Grateful Dead stuff. That's, to your point, one of the great values this thing carries is you get to see Bill at the peak of his powers as a player. Pretty beautiful to behold. I got to say, like, his rebounding and kicking the ball back out down court, like, he was just beautiful to watch.
Well, this guy, Steve James, made hoop dreams. Now, Waterboy, you're born in 92, right?
I would say run, don't
hoop
walk.
Hoop dreams came out in 94.
Get some hoop dreams in you.
I'm aware of the film,
it's a big one.
I don't think I've seen it front to back, boys.
Okay,
you should.
It's
long
a
great one
now. It's one of those movies that's 2 hours and 50 minutes, so it's like that could scare you away. I would urge you to not be scared. I remember I saw that movie by myself one day in 94, where I was in the city. Paul, I remember I was so emotionally attached to the characters that I remember when the movie ended, I had like a light sweat going. I was so gripped by their stories. I was like, man, I just went through a ride.
Well, that's a great film. I mean, Hoop Dreams is a classic.
And that's that guy, Steve James.
Yep.
He's the one who made it. So.
I look forward to 3 and 4 tonight, man.
Yeah,
all over.
Is it only 3 tonight?
Yeah, no, I think it's both. I want to say that I think they're doing back-to-back again. I think they're going 3 and 4, I think.
Oh, I'm actually going to put on his tie-dye.
I'm going to set my DVR and whatever comes up.
That's one interesting difference.
Yeah.
Walton never doesn't wear tie-dye. He always wears tie-dye.
Mm-hmm.
Paulie Mack never wears tie-dye.
Let me ask you a question about tie-dye. Only since you brought this up. This is a legitimate question. And you're right. I don't wear a lot of tie-dye. It's extremely rare.
I don't wear any.
I got a couple at home, dude. Maybe I'll break one out for one of the 3 shows.
Just for fun?
Maybe, yeah. Let me ask you a question. This is like an etiquette.
Excited by
this is actually as a sports tie-in. So when Murph and I flew with a bunch of listeners, bring those back, by the way. Greatest trips ever. Murph and I flying around the country to different Giant series with listeners.
Those were great.
We went to Philly one year. I don't know if you remember this, but the first night we went to the Phillies, we went to a bar right near the stadium, huge sports bar.
Yeah.
And a guy came up to me.
I do remember.
And he was like, hey, man, take this.
Yes, he gave you tie-dye,
okay.
yes.
I love that.
This was 12 years ago. I still remember this.
And
yes.
I have that shirt. It's a killer tie-dye. Here's the etiquette question. There's a Phillies logo on the tie-dye. So if I were to put that thing on.
How big?
No, it's like a steal your face with the Philly P in the middle. So it would be like
a gift, though.
I know. It's very confusing to me.
I think you can wear it as a gift.
It would be the only tie-dye I would actually like to put on just because it's a cool looking tie-dye
shirt.
But now I'm repping the Phillies.
What about the Giants steal your face stuff?
Well, I have Giants dead stuff, but they're not tie-dyes. They're like black T-shirts with the Giants logo in the.
There are Giants tie-dye stuff, though, huh?
Yeah. I don't have one,
I
though.
think Winnie usually wears it, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. I have a good tie-dye.
I'm going to go ahead and say, even though, because we think we
look
know,
the other way?
know you ride with Jack Clark. We
I
know
do,
the deal.
big time.
So I would think as a gift, and if you like the shirt,
it's a cool shirt.
And it would start a conversation, too.
And
if you wear it out to one of those shows.
And I've been uptight about it.
Somebody might. And also, I'm going to give you another reason why you wear it.
Okay.
Is that you are very proud of the detail of Philadelphia's connection to the dead.
Oh, dude, 54 shows, I believe, in Spectrum. Yeah.
You're very into that stat. You like it.
More shows.
This guy gave you the gift.
He did.
We know you ride with Jack Clark and Vita Blue.
Murph, thank you.
So I want you to wear
Thanks
it.
That's why I brought it up. Thanks, man. That helps me a lot, actually. Now I probably will.
I think it'd be great.
I probably will.
And then people be like, whoa, and be like, yeah, this is
just
part
a
of the
nod
love
to-
in the
that's
community.
just part of the history.
Well, also that somebody gave it to you as a gift.
I've seen shows in Philly. I've gone to Philly.
Yet another example.
Yeah. 319. What do you got?
I got you, Tripoli. I see it.
Oh.
As that Mark Spears is getting stuck in security, he's pushed to 9:30.
I understand.
That's okay. Well, I'm excited for you to wear the shirt now.
Okay. No, I probably will, and I'll send out the pictures and everything.
Oh, somebody asked me if I was going to any of the shows, and I said, well, I don't have any tickets yet, so I need a miracle.
They'll be nice. You really do.
Okay, guys. So with Spears, punting Spears to 9:35. On the other side, two stories I want to get into.
Okay.
One involved Waterboy in Palo Alto last night.
Ooh.
And the other, of course, involved the Giants in St. Louis. On KMBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Fire! Fire on the mountain.
Here's what's trending now.
Trending now.
On KNBR.com.
Scott Ostler stopped by the Murphy Mac Show yesterday morning to talk about the Oakland A's attempt to move to Las Vegas. To hear that podcast and more, check out what's trending now on the all-new KNBR app.
All right, everybody. Paulie Mac talking Black and Whiskey. Hey, real quick, how many of us have heard the new Metallica album, 72 Seasons? You guys like it? I do. It's heavy. A lot of tracks, a lot of great tracks, a lot of great jamming on there. Listen, if you're a longtime Metallica fan, you know those guys don't put themselves out there and align themselves with any product unless they're behind it 100%. That's a fact. I know people, shout out Vicky. My friend Vicky works for the band. She's awesome. And I know they have a very, very high standard. So when I'm talking about blackened whiskey from the Metallica guys, you know it's going to be really good simply because they're involved. On top of everything else, you haven't tried it yet or you're thinking about maybe picking up a bottle, it's a great Father's Day gift. Let's face facts, man. A lot of us dads out here, we're long-time Metallica guys. I actually jumped in on their first album. One of the few bands I can say that with. I read a review of their first album. I'm like, I got to check these guys out. And I've been a fan ever since. Now you're going to love Black and Whiskey. Same spirit of innovation. Same kind of blend of finest straight bourbon and rye whiskeys, uniquely finished, sonically enhanced. It is extremely smooth. It's a great Father's Day gift, as I said. You can let your dad know. Being a kick-ass dad is a legacy worth celebrating. I love that. So let's raise a glass. Let's raise a glass with Blackened Whiskey. Let his inner rock star come on out and party on Father's Day this year. Blackened Whiskey is whiskey remastered. Check out the store locator on blackenedwhiskey.com to find a retailer near you.
Now, time for the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. This has been the Protect Your Assets with David Hollander Business and Technology Report. Do you want to pay less taxes this year? Learn more. Listen to David's show every Saturday morning on KNBR or call 1-866-PROTECT. Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Murph and Matt continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
1-1 to Bowser. Bowser skies this one, and they don't spot it. Kennedy looking for it, and it drops. Stanford wins, and is going to Omaha. Wow!
I don't know if I can. I mean, you know, it's our job to like come up with these lists and ranks and all that stuff. Most brutal ways to lose a climactic, and not just a game, an elimination game to go to Omaha. I mean, can you guys rack your brain and think of a football, basketball, or baseball game that ends on harder cheese than that?
Okay, I got one. I'm not saying it was less chaotic, but for the losers, it was crippling for a variety of reasons, especially after what had occurred for 4 quarters. Murph, I'm going back to that Jeff Garcia Giants-Niner playoff game.
That's pretty good.
With the kick that came up short, there was an illegal block downfield. It was mayhem on that play.
Yeah. New York Giants had a field goal to win. Waterboy. This is the 2001 NFL playoffs or 2002. I forget. I covered the damn game.
Yeah, early 2000s.
And that is the New York Giants had a field goal to win, and their long snapper biffed the snap.
But you got to understand, the Giants had, top of my head, I'm going to say, what was it, a 28-point lead in that game? They had a huge
lead. It was like 37-15 at the end of the third quarter. The Niners rallied for like 4 touchdowns. It was a crazy game.
It was totally nuts.
But also, when the snap was loose, the kicker picked it up and chucked it downfield, at which point a Giants lineman was downfield, tried to catch it, and a Niner D lineman named Chike O'Keefe
dragged him down to the ground.
Pulled him down before the ball got there.
Shout out Chike.
And the ball just twittered away, and that was it.
No flag, and there was no flag.
The next day, the NFL said the NFL officials blew that, and it should have been pass interference downfield. The New York Giants should have been awarded the ball on another kick. That's when we brought Steve Mariucci down from his coach's office to get a reaction, and we all circled around him in the Santa Clara press room. We said the NFL just says they blew the call. the Giants should have gotten another kick. And Mooch just looked at us with those big blue eyes.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
He looked at all of us. He looked at like almost each one of us, and he goes, bummer. It was like the
perfect response. Perfect response. Yeah, but that was the game.
That's pretty good. That's
that was a really crazy game.
Triple E says when the Cowboys lost a playoff game in Seattle, Tony Romo mishandled the snap.
Yeah, that was ugly.
PAT.
That was ugly.
That's pretty bad. Whatever, you have any? I can't think. I'm coming up empty because if people don't know, you just played it.
One.
This is game 3, Stanford, Texas. Winner goes to Omaha. They each have one game. It's 6-6 ball game, 2 on, 2 out. Now this doesn't guarantee that Texas wins. We're only going to extra innings, so we want to make sure we say that. But a guy hits a can of corn pop-up. Now, very high, though. Very high pop-up. Shout out the Sky High pop-up, guys.
This is a play that guys are making, though, 10 times out of 10.
Probably
I mean,
100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
And in the twilight.
But nobody even, made a move, though. That was the weird thing.
Shout out the Robert Pattinson vampire series, Twilight.
And the U2 track of the same name, Twilight. First album.
They never, and the poor guy never. I mean, the look of...
Well, limp arms at their
sides. I would say helplessness.
Yeah.
Because they were just helpless. Now, Waterboy, you're watching it live. You're down there, which is incredible. How soon were you processing that they weren't seeing it?
So as soon as I saw the center fielder take 2-3 steps, and then he just stopped. And I said, okay, where's the right fielder? He took 2-3 steps and then stopped.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't see the ball.
No,
and
nobody sees the ball.
It lands near the right fielder.
It does. Not that far away from where he is.
Good. And the crazy part is, I think the only guy who saw it was the shortstop who took off. He's sprinting out to center field.
He was coming guns blazing.
And you have to know that the pitcher for Texas is the left-hander, Lucas Gordon. He's the Big 12 pitcher there, and he was carving, too, by the way. He only made one mistake pitch that Rios almost hit out. And he got out of the jam, and he points up to the sky and does a triumphant walk with his back to the field into the dugout.
Well, I did my job. That's what he thinks, of course.
Waterboy, is that pitcher etiquette? You walk off before it's even caught?
Well, we can't be too critical now.
Dude, I've done the same thing. If you boys want to be honest.
Let's be,
When Jock Peterson hit a home run off me, I pointed up and started walking off the field. I thought it was a fly out.
Look at you.
It was a wall scraper. It landed like a foot over the right foot wall. I thought it was a fly out. The coach was like, it got caught in a jet stream. I was like, jet
Murph.
stream?
And then the other one, we can't be critical about this because the premature celebration either way or acknowledgement, the play's getting made. Steph Curry firing half-court threes, just turning around, walking back before the ball even is.
And he always seems to be right. Has he done that on a miss?
He knows that it leaves his hand. He's like, yeah, that's in. They'll just turn around and start running back.
Somebody says, the 408 says the double doink for the Bears. Let's the Eagles advance.
Well, let's relive that. I mean, we can do that right now on the Murph and Mac Show. Still, it's better than Daltrey. That's all I can say.
707 has one, and I talked to my 11-year-olds about this the other day. Armando Galarraga, the Detroit Tigers, has a perfect game, a perfecto.
Yeah.
And there's a ground ball to ground ball to the pitcher, and he underhands it to first. Is that it? Was the pitcher covering first on a ground ball to first?
No, dude.
I mean, guys, he's out by 2 steps.
How do you make that? I don't even know how that happened.
And the ump just chokes and calls him
brings
safe.
him up, dude.
No, he calls him safe.
Oh, safe?
Because that ruins the perfecto. And then all sorts of stuff happened from there. One, the umpire realized the brain freeze he had.
Oh, it's awful.
He went into this deep funk, and he wound up writing a book with Galarraga. Do you remember this? About how to overcome dark moments in your life?
Damn.
I'm going to look this up right now. But I told the story to my 11-year-olds, and they said, well, why didn't they just go to replay?
No such thing.
There was
none of this back then. Yeah.
They were baffled. We'll just appeal it. It's a replay.
Yeah, not back then. Nobody.
Somebody else points out, Dak Prescott last year.
Great one.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of the game.
There was total confusion there because they didn't know. Clearly, the players on the field didn't know the rule, which is why everybody was so confused.
Yeah. We can go with a Russell Wilson throwing the interception against the Patriots instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, dude, yes.
Right?
So that's yeah.
And that was his last play or second to last play. I think New England might have took a knee, but
Jim Joyce is the name of the ref. Thank you, 408, for sure. Again, but I don't know if I don't think we've ever achieved what we're experiencing with just the phrase hard cheese that comes to mind when things it's like the most brutal break you could ever get.
Hold on.
And that is the way it just pops up and lands. We were talking about the Texas plane and bus on the way home. Just how quiet.
Dude, someone's saying something from the back of the bus. You got to make that play, man. Just an anonymous voice. Real quick, Marcus, help me out. I know there was What was the Raider game last year with that insane ending? Give me the background on that again. Set that up.
City Miracle, the Fail Mary, Jacoby Myers is running down the sideline, turns around, tries to throw the ball back to Mac Jones.
That's right.
Chandler Jones intercepts it and takes it to the house.
What the hell?
That one was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think I declared that the most outrageous finish to an NFL game ever, and people came at me with some other candidates. There are other candidates out there.
Hell, I'll throw you another Raider one, the Immaculate Reception. That was last play of the game.
You got that? You got the
that
holy
was hard
roller.
cheese.
Yeah.
That was serious
You got the
hard
holy
cheese.
roller, too.
That was serious. That's up there. That's up there.
Yeah,
Jim Joyce. So anyway, 8:05 says Bill Buckner.
Well,
I mean, that's just a ground ball through the legs. Now, the game was tied at that point in time. The game...
It was tied. No one went through his legs. That was the game winner.
Don't forget, Bob. See, all these things. Bob Stanley had Calvin Schiraldi had uncorked a couple wild pitches.
How about the fact he had a 3-run...
He gets off the hook. Buckner gets all the heat.
2 outs with a 3-run lead. You got to handle that one, right?
You do got to handle that one. So anyway, shout out Stanford. They're going to Omaha. Should be really fun. They play Saturday against Wake Forest. And I'll be watching, man.
Go Cardinal. That's great.
Totally dialed into this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I'm saying, not even just last night, which was a wild walk-off, but starting on Saturday when Texas came back.
You've been in day one,
5-2, They had a 3-run, 4-run comeback on Saturday night when the Stanford outfielders got confused trying to track down a fly ball. You fast forward to Sunday and Quinn Matthews throwing 156 pitches, 16 strikeouts, and then the walk-off last night. It was a phenomenal series between Texas and Stanford.
It really was. And you pointed out Stanford had that on Saturday night. Their their center fielder and right fielder went to each other and they said, "You got it, I take it." And boom, and then it dropped.
Tough moment, man.
408 with a great text says, I worked stadium ops for the A's spring training camp in college. Had to go to the umpire's room to let them know the game was starting. I opened the door, was about to make the announcement. I locked eyes with Jim Joyce. He's the one who blew the Galarraga call.
Oof.
He was sitting on a stool drilling a butt. I told him the game was starting. He didn't flinch. For some reason, that anecdote makes me laugh.
Drilling a butt, too. Yeah.
And you tell somebody something, they just look right at you.
No response. Let me finish my cig, and maybe we'll talk.
I got one more that's been right in front of us the entire time. We're talking Stanford. How about the play? The band is on the field.
Does this make up for it? Does this make up for it?
That's it.
Maybe.
That's just.
If it was Cal who froze when they watched that thing fall. Oh man. Anyway, wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
I watched it. I mean, last night you had 3 choices. You had the Giants, you had the NBA Finals, and you had Stanford. And to be honest, I had a hard time. I was doing all 3.
I'm not going to be the only guy tonight. At least toggling a little bit for the Stanley Cup, because don't forget, they might win the Stanley Cup tonight.
I'm all Alex Cobb tonight.
You're Cobb. Okay, I'm going to check in on some hockey as well. I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll check it out tonight.
Mets. You got Mets.
I got Mets.
Yankees.
I got plenty going on.
You got a lot
There's
going on.
There's a lot going on in the sports world, and tonight's the reverse protest boycott game for the Oakland A's.
What are the odds Marcus makes an appearance? And I know you'll cover some ground, like Murph said.
I'm thinking about showing up because, as you guys know, I'm a pretty good multitasker. So I can watch the Stanley Cup. I can watch some A's. Actually, you guys might find this impressive. Yesterday, I was in the press box at the Stanford game. I had my handheld radio listening to KMBR, listening to the Giants game, and I had my iPhone with NBA Finals on. I had all 3 covered while in the press box.
Respect.
That was very Copes-like of you to have the multiple screens going there. All right. Well, anyway, it was just one of those moments in time that you will never forget. And the Texas manager said after the game, sometimes life isn't fair.
By the way,
I've heard Stanford people say to me that there were blown calls in the 8th inning by the home plate ump that should have gotten Stanford out of an inning that Texas wound up tying the game. So maybe this was the old ball online thing. What'd you think?
There was a small strike zone. Stanford was getting squeezed on a couple calls, but that's baseball, Murph.
I just want to give 650 just a piece of love too for shouting out Joe to Jerry. 49ers Bengals 87 last play of the game. Bill Walsh skipping off the field. I like where your head's at, 650. I like it.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites.
The skipping.
I happened to be listening to that game on the radio in Los Angeles. How about that?
And if I'm not mistaken, my Brian Murphy history knowledge, I want to make sure you have attended games at Riverfront Stadium, right? Niner Bengals?
No, dude.
Or am I wrong? No.
I had a great
That's why I got to ask.
I had about a 10-year run traveling the country as a sports writer for football, baseball, and
golf.
Bengals. The one American pro sports city I never got to was Cincinnati.
That's crazy. That's very surprising.
Oddly enough, too, the lovely Candace, check with Candace, the one place she went with Stanford women's basketball in the Final Four was Cincinnati.
See what happens? Yeah.
Go figure. So if I include her, we've done it.
And
but
no Reds games even. Nothing.
Look
at you. I would not have guessed that.
You can't say a Reds game without me telling the Tony Phillips story now.
I would like that. Why not? We got a dead spot.
99 Women's World Cup. Shout out Kate Scott. She's doing the Women's World Cup next month.
So impressive, man.
This was the 99 team, the Brandy Chastain year. And they were sweeping the nation, and it was being held in America.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the semifinal or something. and it was on a Sunday, and Tony Phillips walked in and looked up and saw the game on.
Yeah.
He goes, man, what's that doing on? Somebody's like, we're watching the game, man. He goes, no, man.
No.
He goes, I'm going to go get some breakfast, and you better come back and put the Reds game on. And we're like, okay. And then he kind of stripped down to his jockstrap, and he said, I'm not kidding. The Reds game better be on. And he came back. And
Dude, the Reds.
The A's had a lousy spread area. It was like it was in like their training room, and it was like a styrofoam plate with like bad runny eggs.
Oh.
It wasn't even like a really good spread. So he comes back in the jockstrap and the high socks, and he comes back and he looks up and he says, "Mother," and he drops the runny eggs. And he says, he said, "I told you, mother fathers, that I was going to get breakfast, and for you to put the Reds game on. Now take this mother father hockey off my TV."
That's nice.
That's what he said.
I got to applaud Tony Phillips. Rest in peace, man.
Call it hockey. Just call it
Turn the hockey game off. That's great. That is great. That's back when baseball was still in the forefront like that.
Yeah.
You guys can see, baseball, number one sport.
He wanted to watch, quote, the Reds.
Get the hockey game on. I want to watch hockey right now.
Put the Reds game on. Now, he's a big Reds guy because he's the one who told us the great line. It was the 99 team that was in the hunt late for a wild card and then faded the last 2 weeks. And we talked to him in the funereal locker room when they were eliminated. And we said, do you feel like this team deserved to be in the play? He said, deserve? Mother. He said, he said, Sparky taught me a long time ago. You play 162 of these, you pretty much get what you deserve.
I'm going to applaud that too. He's right, 100%. That's why analytics, that's the response to analytics.
He also said,
you pretty much wind up where you want to be.
162 of these mother fathers. Is what he said.
Mother fathers.
Rest in peace, Tony.
Yeah.
He was one of the greats. All right, Mark Spears.
Okay, man.
Going to talk NBA. Unbelievable. The guy told us he's the Denver guy. He said, man, it's always the fool's gold nuggets, the fool's gold nuggets, the fool's gold nuggets. Well, guess what? NBA champion Nuggets. Mark Spears, NBA takes next on The Sports Leader.
There's just times in life now you're going to get boned.
right base sideline. Gets it in, gets it back, shoots a three, no good. Rebound, Caldwell Pope, 10 seconds to go. Miami's not going to foul. No team in NBA history's waited longer. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets are finally NBA champions. They take down the Heat in 5 games. The Nuggets, the 2023 NBA champs.
Now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Congratulations.
Dub Nation, time for Spears to talk Splash Brothers. It's Murph, Mac, and Mark Spears, the senior NBA writer for Anscape.com on KNBR 104.5 and 680 and KNBR.com.
All right, Mark Spears, we're in the process of hooking up with him. Just like Papa and Lund are going to hook up with Matty Kane today at 10:30.
Nice. Cool. Good to hear from Matt Kane. By the way, it gives me an opportunity to remind everybody this segment right here, brought to you by Redwood Credit Union. You can start earning cash back on everyday spending with a Redwood Credit Union free checking account. There are no monthly fees, no minimum balance. Your debit card earns cash back, travel, and more. Get started at redwoodcu.org/free checking, federally insured, Murph, by NCUA.
My man, like Nikola Jokic just looking to blow town after winning the championship, we got Mark Spears looking to blow town. He's got to get on a plane in 13 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're going to give you 12 minutes of Mark Spears gold here, buddy.
12 minutes of gold.
Who's going to get on the plane first, you or Jokic, buddy? Good morning, Mark. How are you, man?
Here's he.
No, man, he might be in Serbia already on the board.
You know what I mean?
Seriously, man. That was one of the takeaways.
He better not blow up that parade. I mean, look, I covered the Nuggets from 99 to 2007, and for the most part, they were awful. I saw them win 17 games once. They had a poll on who the most popular player was, and their mascot, Rocky, won. At that time, not a player. I covered a player's boycott. They're just like a laughable franchise, and they're just happy to make the first round. And now to see them, win a championship is absolutely incredible. I never thought I'd see that day for the Warriors until 2015. I never thought I'd see that for the Nuggets.
Talking to Mark Spears of ESPN Anscape, and he's in that town where he was there for many years when the Nuggets didn't do it. So let's talk about how they did it then. I mean, we knew they were the 1 seed, obviously, but I think everybody's like, yeah, but, until the Warriors get knocked out, yeah, but. So, the Warriors played the Nuggets last year in the playoffs, knocked them out, no problem. But, so was it just the arrival of Jamal Murray's health, the arrival of Michael Porter Jr.'s health that finally allowed Jokic to be full Jokic?
Well, you got to remember, like in the bubble, Jamal Murray was amazing.
Yep.
He was one of the best players there. He was a big-time scorer. So not only has he been unhealthy, but Michael Porter Jr. had been unhealthy as well. And so, it's been a long time coming for them to just get their health. And they felt like once they did get healthy, they could win. And I think that Calvin Booth, their GM, who just completed his first season, he did an excellent job just kind of adding pieces to make this team better, like, getting Jeff Green and, getting Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, getting both the Browns. Like, those were really, really key additions. A team is good when you got DeAndre Jordan and you got, Jackson Reggie Jackson on the bench.
Right.
And they're not even playing, dude. Like, those two guys could have played for the Warriors.
DeAndre, yeah.
And they're not even... And Reggie for sure, too. And they're not even getting in the game.
Right.
I mean, so that just was a testament to their depth and how good they are and why they're champions.
It's so exciting for Denver and in the Nuggets nation, if there is one. But I just want to dive in on Jokic, man, on where, we're all about rankings now. When Steph went for 50 in Game 7 of Sacramento, all anybody wanted to say was, we're top 5 all time, blah, blah, blah. So where are we with Jokic here? The resume is among the best. Obviously, you think of Bill Russell, forget it, 11. You think of Wilt Chamberlain, forget it, all the records. Then you start getting into guys like Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, wow.
Nikola Jokic.
No, slow down.
Okay.
Slow down.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
That's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah, exactly.
Kareem won 6 championships.
Kareem.
And he was a 2-time final and NBA champ. The team won 2 championships, and he was a 2-time finals MVP. Shaq won 4 championships, 3-time finals MVP. Wilt won 2. Obviously, Russell won 11. And then, David Robinson himself won 2 championships. And so, to me, let's pump the brakes. The dude is amazing. But in order to get in that room, he at least got to win one more to me.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's what we're doing. We're tapping the brakes, and we should, because we get so excited. Recency bias is a huge deal going forward here. Now, in terms of the Warriors, we'll flash forward a few months. Now, we don't know who's going to be on the Warriors. We got moves to make. We don't even know who the Warriors GM is. Yeah. But let's just look in general at the Western Conference. Do you see this Nuggets as the Bucks haven't gotten back the last 2 years? There's no guarantee the Nuggets get back.
It ain't easy getting back.
But are you seeing them as a mountain in the West now that all other teams have to factor in?
Well, no, the same way we had to respect the Warriors as champs, we now have to respect the Nuggets as champs. Yeah. And they certainly have confidence now. They've gotten over that mountain. They're not fool's gold anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But, the West doesn't change how loaded the West is. You're going to have a Suns team that will have a training camp under its belt. So they'll be better with Kevin Durant next season. The Warriors are still the Warriors. They could add the right pieces, figure out their chemistry. You can't count them out, right? So there's the Lakers still have LeBron. The Clippers, who knows if they could get healthy. So, are the Nuggets the favorites next season? Sure. But now they got certainly a target on their back. Nobody's taking them lightly anymore. And, I would say they're the favorites, but it won't be easy, man. The West is still as talented as ever.
Listen, some people think the NBA is just a players' league only. Coaches don't matter. That's definitely a theory. Some people say no. But where do you think Mike Malone factors in all this? Because he wanted to get the message out right away. The Pat Riley message. This isn't it. We want more.
Yeah, he's already talking more, Mark.
Where do you rate? Where do you rate Malone's role in all this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic coach. Certainly is somebody that he could potentially be a Hall of Fame coach. Great pedigree from his father. So I just think with him, it sounds good, But the thing about the NBA that I've noticed is it takes 3 things. You need health, you need talent, and you need luck. So that's why I would probably temper that, because you can't control your health, can't control the luck. You just, there's no reason why Miami shouldn't have been in the finals, man. I knew they were going to get drilled like that. They showed you what they were in this series. They had really no business being there, but they got hot, they got lucky in terms of Giannis, and I think that the Celtics underestimated them and it bit them. But hey, let's give them credit. They won the Eastern Conference Championship.
There you go.
But,
yeah.
I know that the Celtics are probably kicking themselves. Milwaukee's probably kicking themselves. So, but that's my point. It sounds good to think that you're going to be back, but I saw Popeye Jones yesterday, a long-time former NBA player and a long-time assistant, in tears. It's so hard to be number 1 to 30, man. It's so hard. So it's easy to say that, but it's much harder to do, no matter how much talent you have. That 2019 Warriors team is one of the greatest teams I ever saw, but they fell apart. Their bodies fell apart at the wrong time, and so it sounds good, They got great talent, but everything has to fall in place like it did this season too.
I know we got to let you go, and I know we asked you a little bit about Murray earlier, but just want you a farewell ode to Murray, because there's always the guy that wins the Finals MVP gets all the love, but last year, Andrew Wiggins was almost as important as Curry.
And you're right, Murray's postseason was
just
amazing.
Just a word on him.
Yeah.
And he's a young man. He was emotional. His dad trained him hard. He did squats with hot tea on his knees so he didn't get burned.
You know what I mean?
He's young.
That's some crazy. He got burned. Totally got burned.
This guy, where he is in this NBA star pantheon in this moment for him.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I mean, you could have made an argument that pound for pound, he could have been the Western Conference Finals MVP. He's had a great series, and it's almost kind of like a Kobe Shaq thing, right? You got a dominant two, a dominant center, and but ultimately, as somebody once told me, when you win, everybody eats, man. Like I don't think he really cares that he's not the star of the team, and because your star doesn't really care to have much attention, he could take it all. He could get all the endorsements. He could get all the attention. He could have all the commercials, and I expect him to take advantage of it. Not just in Canada, but worldwide. I mean, he's a really good guy, great story, lots of cool personality, lots of swagger. So where Joker doesn't want that, doesn't care about the money, doesn't care about the attention, I'm sure he'll take it, and he'll take advantage of it.
Last one, man. Hey, Mr. San Jose, Mark Spears. I hope you had a little San Jose secret handshake with Aaron Gordon.
Totally.
Out of Mitty.
You guys, man.
Wait. Check this out. The story's coming out. It's an amazing story, if I do say so myself, about how I'll give you a sneak preview right now. Aaron Gordon bought a warehouse in like the eastern part of Denver, a town called Montbello, and he turned it into his own personal gym. It has a half-court, NBA regulation half-court. It has a sauna. It has a hot tub, cold tub, weight room. All he wanted to do last offseason after losing to the Warriors in San Francisco and feeling embarrassed was to just roll out of his bed and be able to work out with no excuses, not have to go anywhere. Didn't even really spend any time in San Jose last offseason. And when you see the pictures of this place, it's extraordinary. There's these giant murals all over this gym. And anybody from Mandela to Ali to Einstein, to Tony Hawk,
Maya
Angelou to Lauryn Hill, to Heath Ledger. It's an incredible place.
Wow.
And that's kind of where he locked in during the off season to get ready for this season. And I got shout out to Calvin Andrews, Oakland guy, Richmond guy. Super agent for Clutch Sports. He gave me access to the place yesterday and got all the pictures, all the video. And so it's going to run on Anscape and ESPN today, man. And
awesome.
Great timing because this San Jose kid from Mitty, who I've seen since he was a junior, he's a champion now.
Man, I'm glad we asked. That was
great stuff,
by the way,
Mark.
I got a little bird in my ear from the 408. That was Santa Clara's own Waterboy asking that question, or Sunnyvale's own, I should say.
Go.
Fair enough.
It's a 408 thing. You just don't understand.
Yeah.
Mark,
Fly safe, man. We always love talking to you. Look
Thanks,
forward
Mark.
to the next one, and congrats on another great season, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
See you, man.
There it is. So, Waterboy, it's a 408 thing you wouldn't understand.
We're not part of that club. We don't get to play with that. Yeah.
Because like Mark was just talking about, like we all knew about Aaron Gordon at Mitty. I remember when I was like a junior or senior and he was a freshman and he was putting out these mixtapes just dunking on dudes and throwing down alley-oops. And this, of course, is following in the footsteps of his brother, Drew Gordon, who was a stud high school player as well.
Also, note to self, Murph, we need to purchase a warehouse somewhere in the East Bay soon as possible. It could be half gym.
Well, what murals are we going to have?
Well, I got Jerry on the wall immediately.
For sure.
We got Jack Clark, Willie McCovey, guys like that.
Yeah,
Ronnie
I
Lott,
endorse all
Joe.
these.
And plus, here's my vision.
Else? Who else we got?
Oh, it's got to be big enough that we do have an indoor gym.
Are we going De Niro or Pacino or
Both
somebody
of
like
them.
that?
No, we do both.
How about a big mural of Vince Vaughn?
Absolutely. We'll do Vince Vaughn. We can get him immortalized up there as well. But
Triple E wants to know, would we have a big mural of Jimmy G?
In fact, the Vince Vaughn might be an interactive exhibit where you press the button and he talks to you.
Motorboat? You play the motorboat?
That'll be part of the Murph and Mac warehouse. When we purchase it, I want a batting cage that we can take swings in. I want a putting green for Murph and some indoor growing, some room to grow.
Not a putting green as much as I need a chipping area.
Scratch that. We got to get Murph a chipping area.
There we go.
Like Jim Nance has
Can
a
I have
chipping
Ernie
area.
Els on the mural then?
Absolutely.
Can we have Jim Nance on the mural?
I demand it.
All right.
He's on the front door.
All right.
Yeah.
Can we have Waterboy and Triple E on the mural?
The most important question of all, you know who we've left out? Last guy we got to have a mural of, Murph, and I don't want to leave anybody out, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you know who we idolize on the show?
Bob Fitzgerald.
I want Bobby Fitz on the wall as well.
Hey, this segment was sponsored by Marin Health with top physicians, surgeons, and clinicians right here in the North Bay. Marin Health puts you closer to your best health, world-class care. closer than you think. We'll hand it over to another guy we'd want on a mural, Greg Papa. Next,
Totally.
KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Nuggets.
From the Chilton Auto Body Traffic Desk. Listen to the sports leader anywhere, anytime. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, Murph and Matt continue live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
You need, if you want to be successful, you need a couple of years. You need to be a bad, then you need to be the good, and then you need to when you're good, you need to fail, and then when you fail, you're going to figure it out. I think the experience is something that is not what happened to you, is what you're going to do with that, what happened to you.
There he is, the man who Mark Spears urged us to tap the brakes in terms of his all-time big man status. There's a guy called Kareem. There's a guy called Shaq. There's a guy called David Robinson. There's a guy called Hakeem Olajuwon. All on the way. But hey, he's on the way. We're all so quick to rush these guys. He's 28. So we'll see. What does he have? Another 3-4 years of primo basketball?
Spears, he kind of told us to chill on that. He's like, don't get too crazy yet.
I mean, and I guess the argument is, like, look at Giannis 2 years ago. Oh, man, he's going to be on a run. He hadn't been back 2 years in a row now. He's failed to get back. Only, as we like to say.
It's a great call, man.
Only one team ends happy.
Toronto never got back. The Lakers never get back. If you want to acknowledge that, the Warriors weren't able to get back. Boston didn't get back. The Bucks didn't get. It's more common than not.
For Jokic, he just gets his one.
And that is entirely possible.
Giannis got his one.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
It's like Nowitzki he only got one, right?
Yeah.
Dirk got one.
808 KNBR one-time champs who we're now calling chumps. All right?
Dirk must go. 808 KNBR.
What'd you win?
Kidding.
One championship?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You know what I mean?
But Spearsy is right. You have to let it play out and see what he can amass over time, if he can amass anything.
It is kind of unusual to win the one. Generally, when you're good enough to win one, you win more. Like Isaiah Thomas won more than one. Magic Johnson won a bunch. Larry Bird won a bunch. Michael Jordan obviously won a bunch. And then Shaq and Kobe won a bunch. I guess Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett only got the one, right?
That's crazy, too. Those
they only got the one, right?
Those Isaiah Piston teams, technically, they went to the finals 3 consecutive years, and then they won 2 in a row. Because the first time they lost to L.A., and then they peeled off 2 straight.
Yeah. So, anyway, sorry, Jokic. We went from crowding.
You're a hero for about 3 hours. Now we've taken you off the list.
All right, we're back to baseball tonight. At 4:45.
I want another one, Murph. Give me that win tonight.
And then the Walton thing tonight, too.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Nice.
And you're watching hockey, huh?
I want to check it on Stanley Cup, dude. Every time they bring the cup out, it's a special moment.
Okay.
Skate it around, drink out of the cup, enjoy.
Good job, Tripoli and Waterboy.
Right,
we will
kids.
do it again tomorrow.
Thank you, boys.
We hand it over.
Cheers, y'all.
To Papa and Lund. Although I believe is it Papa and Lund today? Good.
Nice. Welcome back, Johnny.
And welcome back, Johnny, for sure. And when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. You are listening to KNBR and KNBR FM San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station.
I put him under the pressure. Yes, I did. I don't feel bad at all.
It hasn't hit me, and I don't think it's going to hit me tonight because I'm going to drink too much.
The job is done. We can go home now.
That's the end of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves.
I love it when you call me Big Pop.
For Greg Papa.
Sleeping Boy is Superman. San Francisco.
And John Lund.
It's 10 o'clock. Let's hit it.
This is Papa and Lund.
That's right. We're getting it going.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. The sports leader.
Look at the look of intensity on Mayness. The question is, can Seven get inside Mayness? Mayness has got to be careful of the liver kick. This is not where Mayness wants to be. Mayness is most comfortable on the ground.
Not a good place for Mayness to be.
Mayness needs to loosen up a little here. We know, Pat, that Mayness can take a pounding and come back. Interesting to see Mayness getting a little acrobatic.
Mayness wants to take him there, take him into the deep water.
So far, so good for Mayness. Salmon did say yesterday he has enormous respect for Mayness. Now Mayness goes to ground. This is where Mayness wants to be, Pat. And Mayness didn't quite have the time on the ground that he wanted. Double jab, Mayness. Mayness's movement has been superb here. And Mayness is taking punishment. But at the moment, Mayness in a very sore state.
Yes!
I mean, who approved that? Who I lay in a hospital bed for days and
Danny Mayanus?
Danny Mayanus to start the show. That is beautiful.
Why are we going
Danny
First of all,
Mayanus.
John Lund, can I just tell you? So
yes.
great to have you back.
Oh, yeah.
We opened, and Marcus was in the chair. We opened the show with that opening bellow for 3 days. FP was in for Friday and Monday, but it's been a week since I've seen your pretty face and heard your voice. How are you?
I'll get the camera up in a
How's
second.
your anus is my question.
I am
How's
all
Johnny
well.
my anus?
Yeah, that was a scary my anus, but all's well that ends well. And after a few complications, we are good. And I just appreciate you and everybody reached out. I am just so overwhelmed that I'm gonna get like you do sometimes. I'm gonna get emotional. And I'll try not to, but I mean the amount of support you get when your health is an issue and you find out who your friends are, man, it was awesome. I mean, people that I didn't even think knew me, people who I thought were direct enemies, people who I hadn't heard from in 30 years. I mean, the positive impact of social media, and I want to thank FP too, because I talked to him on Sunday morning, and I wasn't still feeling great, and he said, hey, man, you got to push something out. And for people who don't know, and I'll make it quick because, yeah, exactly.
Push something out? Are you sure you want to use that?
We got Nuggets, we got
line?
Warriors, we got Giants, we got Patrick Bailey, we got Texas dropping a ball down at Stanford. I mean, we got, oh, man, are we packed. But just real quick, because it could save a life, I had a colon cancer scare is what happened, and you and I, ironically enough, Danny Mayanus, went in the same day.
I'm Greg Mayanus, you're John Mayanus.
That's right. You and I went in on the same day, not planned, to have these colonoscopies done, and mine came out with a bit of an issue, and I was kind of in a fog, as you are after these things, and they said, yeah, we may have cancer here, and kind of looked at my wife like, he said come back in a year, right? Or did he say the C word? And I kind of, it was scary and everything else. But all I want to tell people is just get checked. And I've had skin cancer too. I had my bottom lip rebuilt, squamous cell cancer in my bottom lip. And, get your skin checked to get your, prostate, your colon. I mean, one thing, and you and I both know this because we waited so long to get a colonoscopy. And part of it, I think, was the fear of people saying, oh, it's awful and you got to drink all this stuff. And it's, man, you drink this stuff, you lose a few pounds, which is nice. A nice nurse says, how are you? An anesthesiologist gets halfway through a joke, and then you're asleep and you wake up. I mean, it is really that simple. It's covered by your insurance likely, and you want to check. And for people who say, I'd rather not know I have cancer, that's not how it works. And I've had the C word said to me twice, and it is life-altering, life-changing, and I'm going to use my forum to make sure that people understand that whether it's colon cancer or, and again, you know this, Pop, because of your brother. I know it because my dad, pancreatic cancer, took him in 90 days. He just found out too late. My mom, breast cancer. I mean, everybody listening has had something affected by cancer. Everybody has. And so this is not a unique story that I'm telling, and I'm certainly not trying to make it about me. I'm trying to make it about just go in, man. If one person does, and I had a bunch of people reach out to me that said, I'm going in, because I did about a 10-minute video on YouTube and a podcast if people want to look it up, but and just basically told more of my story because I don't want to take the whole show. But I just want people to go out and get checked. And this, Pop, cancer does not care about gender or race or political views or anything. It takes you, it gets you, and it doesn't care. And certain genders and races and so forth, there are certain cancers that are definitely much more prevalent with you, so you just need to get with your doctor. And I've gone through the shower, I've gotten my heart checked, I've gotten everything checked, I've gone crazy about it because I don't want to die. You know what I mean? It's just, I got the report Sunday, and then we can move on. I got the report Sunday from my doctor who said, and this is what's crazy about it is, and I don't know the details, and I'm sure as hell not a doctor, but things start to form. It was underneath these polyps that were on my thin part of my colon, and Dr. Gottlieb these doctors, I feel so embarrassed about what I do for a living because these guys they're incredible. And but essentially what happened was these things were forming underneath, and he said it could have been as little as 15 to 20 days, 30 days, 90 days. He goes, definitely in that time period, you were going to have cancer and we were going to have a different conversation. So I'm certainly not saying anything. A lot of other people have had scares and are fighting cancer right now. I'm not, but I'm simply telling you that I got within 30 days probably of having cancer and then having a whole different thing. And so we've all been affected by it. You and I personally have, by relatives very, very close to us, and it's been damning. But when they tell you it's too late, man, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the best thing you can do is to get it early or to just not get it at all and just stay up on things, because we don't want you to die. We want you to be around because we want you to listen to the show. So there you go. No,
you got through without crying, man. Now you got me going.
It's hard. It's just
waterfalls.
Well, I mean, we both have been affected. You and I both personally have talked about it with your brother and my dad. And 5 minutes before my show, he said, "I'm done." And I said, "No, you're not." I said, "We're going to fight this thing like hell." And he said, and he paused at 11:57, and you and I were going on at noon. And he said, "There's nothing we can do."
Yeah.
And it's the worst. It's the worst feeling you can have.
Yeah.
So just get checked. Just get checked.
No, I commend you, and you downplayed what you had because we had the colonoscopies on the same day, and I put mine off. You're supposed to do it when you're 50. They say even earlier now, and hell, I'm 60 and beyond, and I finally had a colonoscopy because I was so concerned about prostate cancer, and I'm wearing my brother's hat. My brother, and to your point, he just missed a physical 1 year.
That's it.
1 year.
It's crazy.
And she finds out, because how many people have had prostate cancer? Dusty Baker, Joe Torre, the Michael Milken prostate, around Father's Day, which is coming up on Sunday. And the anniversary of my brother's death is Juneteenth. It's June 19th of 2009. We lost him. So
Mine is
14 years.
My dad's was June 12th. Just a couple days. Just yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. So, my brother missed literally a physical 1 year.
Jeez.
Just 1 year. He had things going in his life. He didn't have it done. By the time they caught it, and so many people reached out to me and made a difference, but it was basically Michael Milken himself, and he just, it was too late. It was already on the bone. It wasn't encapsulated in the prostate, and he was lost. And he had a very aggressive form of cancer, and he fought the good fight for 5 years, and he had the Gary Papa run, and it was a Father's Day annual run, and we lost him the Friday before Father's Day. He passed away in 2009. So for that, I'm crazy about getting the prostate PSA. I've gone, sometimes with my situation, you could get it once a year. I like to get it, once every 6 months. I went back and I said, I'm going to call for a checkup again. And they said, Greg, you just had it done. I said, well, that was 6 months ago. They said it was 2 months ago. You're fine. You're going to be fine. But the Al Davis in my my year,
sure.
Al had a full physical every couple of months, like you. And when I heard you say it, he just didn't want to die. He just said, I don't want to die. And then it was something else that took his life. But in any event, and then the colonoscopy, it's amazing. You and I have been talking about it. We made it a bed. It's way overblown. It's not that. To me, it was the best diet of all. It was the fire hydrant on the toilet diet.
Boy, that is explosive.
Pounds, like 12 hours.
That is explosive.
Great. So it was way overblown. It was really easy. In your case, the polyps were cancerous. In mine, they found 5, all benign, had them removed, told me to come back in 3 years.
Yeah.
So, but you did it right away, and the whole thing is to get it done. So, Johnny Mayanis, it is great to get you back. A lot has gone on since you've been gone.
Oh, my gosh.
But I've been thinking of you, and you're amazing, because when you told me about it, you're just, no big deal, I'll be fine. And, to hear it in your voice and when you're actually going through it, because that C word, got to figure out a way to eradicate that from the planet and keep people alive. And this is the time of the year, and, my mom had double mastectomies performed right around Christmas. She ultimately, what's funny is, my brother had prostate. My other brother has prostate. I remember interviewing Michael Milken on NBC Sports Bay Area. It was Michael Milken and Tommy Lasorda. And literally, I got the call like 5 minutes before that interview we did. And, Tommy's just dropping F-bombs like crazy, and he's going off. And Milken's trying, my second brother was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And Michael Milken unflappably is like, that means 85% in your 60s you will get prostate cancer. I'm like, great, Michael. So let's sit down and I'll, grab a tissue to wipe away my tear. But, you just got to stay on it, like you said. The colonoscopy, for whatever reason, I put off because I was so, locked in on the prostate. And my mom wound up, and she was, in her early 90s, and she had other issues. But ultimately, it was prostate that got her, or colon cancer that got her, not prostate. So in any event, it's great to have you back. Great to know that you're Johnny Mayanis, and we can go back to all of our butt jokes and everything we've missed when you've been gone, my friend.
No, it's awesome, and it's great to as you said, come out the other end and be good with this whole thing. The only thing I warn you about today, and in the coming days, is that so I'm in my studio today, and I'll have the camera up shortly. Right. I'm in the studio today. I would
like a rectal camera. If you could get that.
Oh, I've got pictures. I've got pictures. Can we have a
different lens?
Yeah, I definitely have pictures if you'd like. But the studio does not feature a bathroom. It is a very nice studio. It has a lot of things that you would need for a man cave, but it does not feature a bathroom.
There's no outhouse out there at all, or anything?
Well, there might be because so
how does that work? By the way, are you defecating normally now, or Ralph Pernershka? Are you going
People are
Ralph
leaving
Pernershka?
so fast. People are leaving so fast.
Do you remember Ralph Pernershka? Pat Sajak's leaving Wheel of Fortune. Remember when Ralph Pernershka hosted
1
that
year
show for a short time?
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, he had a kick with a bag in his right hand.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to put this in a really delicate fashion because people are probably still eating some, maybe lunch, maybe whatever
time.
snack. But let's just say that I don't get a lot of lead time.
Oh, it just comes.
The system's still recovering.
It's the fire hydrant. You're on the fire hydrant diet.
Exactly. So if all of a sudden
just drop
I'm
the mic and you know me, John. I'll jump. I talk so damn long. You could probably go and come back and know what to know.
Well, that's what I figure. But I'm going to give you a lead. I'm going to just. I don't know. Maybe.
Can you take the camera? Can you take the camera into the?
I could.
Into
sure,
the facilities.
I could. Oh yeah. If you hear echoing, that's where I am. But I guess
I do want the audio up as well.
Yeah, of course. There's no pushing. There's no pushing.
No, it's just it's the Hershey squirts more, right?
But if maybe we come up with a code word, like if I yell like Brian Johnson from AC/DC, fire, and then I'm just gone. Maybe I'll yell fire, just fire, and then I'm out. Then all of a sudden I'm not on camera. You'll pretty much know.
I think Pernershka.
I'll be back in a minute.
Pernershka.
And Lund presents the Caboose Pistol.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, the Caboose Pistol.
Yeah, we're already there. All right.
You know we get over it. There's Danny Maianis. We go Danny.
There you go. A little Danny Maianis. I've got a soundboard here, so I could throw a little Danny Maianis and then
Danny
you know.
Maianis.
All right, but go get checked. I cannot again. I can't tell you how stoked I am to be back and how everybody reaching out and watching these videos that I put out and are responding, and people just who I haven't heard from in years who I thought hated me, but I still maybe hate, but I do appreciate you reaching out. And Pop, I appreciate your friendship more than ever because through the whole process, I'm one of the nights in the hospital. You won't believe this. I had an adverse reaction to drugs one of the nights because they tell you to push that button. I know it's hard to believe. And I'm rolling at about 104 degrees, and I can't. It was not a fun hospital. And you know how it is.
You were up that high? Wow.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of stuff going on, but and then you're walking around the floor with all your wires connected to you, and they're like, "Good job, Johnny. You can make the loop around the hospital floor." I mean, it's just you and I are not sitters. And,
was the hospital nightgown open in the front or open in the back?
Both. I didn't even know how to do it. The assistant nurse kept coming.
You were double flapping it.
I would walk the loop, and I can't reach back there. So I would walk the loop, and this assistant nurse every single time, because I was bored out of my mind. Every time I would do the loop, he would walk behind. He would come up behind me and go, "Hi, John," and he would because my ass was hanging out.
Shield you.
And he would be like, he'd always have to do it because I was like, and finally I turned to him and I go, "Could you get one that fit?" Like I don't know,
they're not supposed to fit. They only wrap around. In your case, Johnny Maianis, they want the back end open. I think.
Yeah, the back.
How do you tie those? You can get the one up by the neck.
Yeah.
But the one in the middle, in the middle of your back, how the hell do you tie that? And the low one, there's no chance.
All right, we got again. Thanks for the support. We appreciate it, and thanks for sitting through our stuff as we commiserate about it. But all is good, and I couldn't be happier to be back, and I couldn't be happier to be hanging out with you. 10:30, Matt Cain is going to join us. We're going to start the process, and then our good friend Sean Estes, who was on the call. I don't know what that ball hit. Was that a seam? Are the Cardinals trying to cheat?
It was a Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl.
That was Astros like. That was like, okay, there's something fishy. Let's dig up the ground. But anyway, Patrick Bailey's great throw, just everything that's going on, and the Nuggets winning the championship. We got to get to that and how the Warriors fit in all this and can get back to raising that trophy as well. We'll get to all of it coming up next. Papa and Lund, thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday, only here on the Sports Leader.
Here's what's trending now.
Trending now.
On KNBR.com.
Kype, Dwayne Kuiper, he joined Murph and Mac to discuss the rise of Luis Matos at AAA and says he's exactly where he needs to be. That podcast and more trending right now on the all-new KMBR app.